splashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Afternoon, good morning, good everything, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is episode 899 of the Two Dum Yinzers, if you could believe it or not, guys. This is the last day of season 8. We're cracking into season 9 mañana. We're cracking into season 9, and then we're on a countdown, guys, to the big 1,000. Just 100 shows away from getting to that milestone. Super excited here at the Two Dum Yinzers, guys. Again, that is mañana, kicking off season 9. Welcome back to the show. Glad to see everybody this morning. Glad to see everybody on the board. Good morning to Miss Pittsburgh. Always great seeing Miss Pittsburgh on the terrible board. Hope all is going well for you. Hope you're keeping warm here in the Berg. Miss Pittsburgh says, here we go, Steelers. Here we go, Steeler Nation. Also, Miss Pittsburgh says this, good afternoon, everyone, and follows it up by saying, let's go, Steeler Nation. That's right, baby. Here we go. A lot of things to get into today. We got a big show planned for you. Ty, my man, the GOAT. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone. Hope everything is well for you, sir. It's cold. It's still cold. They even gave the kids another day off here where I'm at because of the cold, and, of course, because they plowed all the snow onto the sidewalks, and unless you're planning on having the kids stand on the road to catch the bus. Guys, I don't know what the hell they could have did different, but it is what it is. Here we are. It's January. It's Pittsburgh. It's nothing new. Good morning to Lightning Rod. What's up, Lightning Rod? Always great seeing you on the terrible board. He says this, Trump is going to rename Greenland to the Steel Country. I like that. You know what? I'm not into listen, I do follow politics enough to know what's going on. I do follow enough to have an opinion, but I'm not stupid enough to talk about it. It's insane today what people are saying to one another, and it's truly incredible what's going on out there in this world. And my thoughts is this: it seems like people are basically, they take a meme and they see something they see on something on social media, it offends them, whether it's real, whether it isn't real, and then they call people names, and then they and that's how they're handling this. Apparently, to me, what it looks like is people are fighting over memes. Some things appear to be true, some things appear to be fake, but it just seems like people are looking for a reason to go at each other. That's why I stay away from it entirely. I'll keep with my football. I'll keep with my Steelers. At the end of the day, guys, I think that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying don't pay attention to what's going on in the world around you. Pay attention. But again, don't let yourself fall into it, guys. It's not worth it. It's all going to come and go as every other incident around the world has ever did. And one thing at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be here. They're going to be playing football next season. And you know what? I'm going to focus on those kind of things. So, guys, welcome back to the show. Today is a big day. And as I said this is episode 899, the last day of season 8 for the two Dum Yinzers. After today is over, we're going to be cracking into season 9. Manana will be season 9 and start off to that. Again, just a short 100 shows to the big 1,000. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, if you will. Guys, thank you for being here for every part of it. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. Let me scoot on the board here a little bit. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit right here. I'm going to go right here. Mike Tomlin on the big board this morning. He says this. Mike Tomlin says, just got back from Cancun, and there's a picture of some random dude on my desk, some random family on my desk. I don't know who these people are, but it doesn't look like my family. What the hell's going on? Mike?
Whose white baby is this?
Whose white baby is this? Good afternoon to you, Mike Tomlin. Of course, Miss Pittsburgh, she says the Cleveland Browns did get a new head coach. They did, and I find it even funnier than I thought that I was going to.
It's great. It's even better.
It's even better than I was expected for the Browns. We'll get into that shortly. Hopefully Tater taps in here at some point, and we could let him have it because, again, their new coach grossly underachieved in Baltimore, and it couldn't be more fitting than the Cleveland Browns to get this guy as their new head coach. So we'll get into that. So much more, guys. A lot of things to get into today. Lightning Rod says this. He says, "Yeah, politics is no good." Again, I'm not saying don't keep you want to keep an eye on what's going on around you in life. Obviously, I mean, you got to know what's going on around you. But at the end of the day, once people take that dive and they start calling people names, this and that, I mean, have an opinion. Go out and again, but my opinion is this. And again, this is going to be my last word on politics. I swear to you, you want to change in this country, vote more moderate. I'm just saying. Both sides, they vote extreme, and then when extreme happens, we cry and fight and throw names and this and that. Change. Let's get back to voting moderate, people that aren't as crazy. And then maybe things could get back on the right track. So that's my word of politics for the day. I'm going to move forward again. I don't plan to ever do it again. So there you go. That's my take on politics. Let's move forward. Tortilla says, the older I get, the more I root for the bad guys. Good morning to Tortilla, way out in Sacramento, California. Always great seeing the man. Tortilla on the terrible board. Mark Malone, Steelers, baby. Pittsburgh Steelers are back. Two Dum Yinzers. Mike says this at Tortilla. So that's why you're our favorite fan. Now, there you go. Mike, also Steeler freak. John says, I never voted. Just remember, all the media is designed to make folks angry because that sells. Listen, and again, maybe it's the conspiracy theorist in me. But again, at the end of the day, you start peeling back layers on all this junk. It stinks. Like an onion, it stinks. And again, you'll find the inconsistencies. And one other reason I do, both sides are literally fighting the same points. But if it's not on their side, you're a dumbass. It the problem. You're shit. You're whatever. So again, beyond my area of interest, again, let's make it worth something, guys. Let's talk football. Let's talk Steelers. Let's talk important things here, guys. Tyrone Tortilla says, I'm the biggest loser. No, Tortilla, I'm the biggest loser. Tater says, I feel sick, and you should, Tater. Everybody laugh at Tater, everybody. There he is. Everybody laugh. If you're laughing now, we're part of the same squad. We're part of the same team.
Tater.
Don't feel bad. If you're at your home or in your job or in your car and you're going, Tater, it's okay. We're right there with you, baby. We're right there. We're all going to laugh at Tater today. Again, we'll get into that and so much more. Glad to have you, Tater. As always, Tyrone says, I like Mike McCarthy's press conference about the quarterback's leadership. Seems he's excited to be here and understands being a Steeler coach and calling plays. Bro, I couldn't agree more, and I'm going to get into that here shortly. We're going to talk about that conference. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. We got a lot to get into today, actually. We got moves in the league with coaches. We got big dates coming up. We have things going on. The Steelers are looking good. We're going to land on our feet. A lot of things to talk about. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be, guys. Welcome to the show. Glad to see us today. Yinzer Joe, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Yinzer Joe. One of the OGs, actually, when it all comes down to it. Yinzer Joe, you do get some kind of award. Whatever award it is, you get it. Yinzer Joe, I swear to you. Lightning Rod says this. I asked Chat GPT how long we have to wait for the Steelers coordinators and assistant coaches hires announcements, and this is what Chat GPT told Lightning Rod. 1 to 2 weeks of McCarthy's official start. Assistant coach announcements rolling out after 2 to 4 weeks. So there you go. There you go. Armac, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Armac on the terrible board. My man, hope all is well for you, sir. Tortilla says, yeah, politics turned into sports and sports turned into politics, and I hate it. I hate it. Let us be. Let us enjoy sports. Let us enjoy our sports. And you know what? If it's bread and circus and that's just the way it ends up being, it's just the way it ends up being. I don't know. Again, I don't want to hate everybody. I just don't. Call me crazy. Let me scoot on a little bit here. Tyrone says, you laughed at us talking to Tater, of course. Let's all take one more moment and laugh at Tater. And you know what? It isn't right if you don't point. So be sure to point as well. And when you laugh at Tater, guys, believe me, it's worth it. It's very worth it. Of course, Tater is our resident Cleveland Brown fan here on the board. I'll scoot up a little bit here. Lightning Rod also says this. Chat GPT says, in short, expect coordinator hires first roughly this week through next, then the rest of the staff announcements after the next couple weeks. Tater says Schwartz has also informed Browns he is leaving.
That's the most devastating blow right there.
All right, let me move on. Joe says Monken, new coach of the Browns. And I gotta be honest with you, again, for somebody that grossly underachieved as the offensive coach for the Ravens, makes me laugh even more, guys, because again, you have a MVP quarterback, you have Derrick Henry, you have this, you have that, and again, this team, they couldn't beat us at all. We swept them. We beat them both times this year, as they were supposed to be the team to win the division and beat us. And I'm not. Oh, that's the Ravens. Yes, I'm sorry. And they failed. So the Browns said this. They said, you know what? That is so fantastic. I have to have that guy as my head coach. As the Browns did this morning, hire Todd Monken, the former offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who again failed miserably in Baltimore. And now Tater's telling us that also Jim Schwartz is also leaving, which was the defensive coordinator, in case you're wondering, who did put together and led a pretty damn good defense. So there you go. Feel free to laugh at Tater all day. I think he's accepting it today. So go ahead and get it in when you get a chance. Tyrone says, Ryan, let's get that DC. Like, yeah, absolutely, dude. Hey, you know what? A lot of things we're going to get into today. Yinzer Joe says we should go get Schwartz.
Yeah.
You know what? He had one of the best defenses in the league. Any way you slice it. And that's what makes it even funnier for Cleveland. Mark Malone says the Browns have to be trying to be bad. I've been thinking that for a quarter century. I truly been thinking that for a quarter century. This team has to be trying to be this bad. They have to be. There's no way a professional sports team. I mean, the Pirates, I mean, you can make this argument, but again, football trumps baseball any day of the week, in my opinion. So we're just going to stick with this. Also, Mark Malone said there's no actual way they're trying to win. Suck it, crumpet, Tortilla says. Tater says, so we have hired a guy we have already fired before.
Yeah, he was their offensive coordinator about 5 years ago, I think 6 years ago, somewhere in that range, if I'm not mistaken. That is just comical. That is just great.
It is great, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Two Dum Yinzers again. This is episode 899. This is the last day of season 8. Mañana will bring the new beginnings, as this year seems to be the theme for 2026, new beginnings. And you know what? That's sometime a good thing, and we're going to embrace it here for many reasons. I'll get into a few of them here in a short moment. Tyrone said, you laughed at us, Mike McCarthy, great coach. Ha ha ha. Tortilla follows it up by saying the gears are starting to turn, and Tater, I think they are too. I think they have been for a while. But you know what? There was a little resistance. I think by the time we kick off in September, Tater's going to have himself a nice black and gold hat, a terrible towel, everything that goes along with it. I just know these kind of things. Yinzer Joe says, Tater, it's because to right-minded coach wants to be which right-minded coach wants to be in Cleveland. And love the show, man. Man, we thank you, Tyrone, Mike.
I think Tater should come to Pittsburgh for the draft and just fully embrace becoming a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I tell you what, Tater, if you come all the way over here from the across the pond, I will set you up. I'll put you up in Mike's studio. How's that?
Hell yeah, brother.
make the trek across the Atlantic Ocean. I will put you up in Mike's studio for the draft. If you do decide to do that, we're not going to pay for anything. I'm not going to pay for the trek or anything over. But if you do make it over, you could stay in Mike's studio while you're here.
It's going to be a tight fit, man. I got like 7 or 8 big, hairy, sweaty guys staying here during the draft. It's going to be a raunchy time in here, Tater. Join the fun.
Tater, hey, nobody knows raunchy, but like the English do. I gotta be honest.
They put beans on everything, man.
That's a raunchy group. That's a raunchy group. What's good, M Sparks? My man, always great seeing on the terrible board. Lots of things to get into today. Big show again. Last show of season 8 for the Two Dum Yinzers, cracking into season 9 tomorrow, with only 100 shows left of the big 1,000. You know what that means? It means something. I don't know what it means just yet, but it means something. Welcome, everybody. Lightning says, I asked ChatGPT if the ancient Yinzers of Pittsburgh came from Atlantis. What did ChatGPT say? Then she says, if Tater comes to town, I'll buy him some chili. Tater, come on.
The offer's getting better, brother.
It's already better than being a Browns fan. If you ask me my opinion, you're staying in Mike's studio. You're getting free hot dogs from Finch. Maybe Derpy will show you the pair of old Christmas hams he has. Whatever. We'll make it worth your while if you make it over from Great Britain or the United Kingdom, or whatever the hellions call it over there. Let me do scoot along. Or Tyrone says Mike McCarthy said they will sign free agents and draft. Also, Yinzer Joe says this. Tater probably wants to stay with Derpy anyway. You know what? We can make that happen. We can make that happen. Tortilla says the old Tater Burger. The Tater Burger. This is Lightning Rod, but he says this is what they said about the Atlantis theory on ChatGPT. Atlantis existed. It probably sank in the Atlantic, and the survivors drifted up the rivers, ended up at the Three Rivers, built steel mills, and they invented something, and I'll get to that as soon as it pops up.
A lot of things were invented in Pittsburgh.
You're damn right. And I have some really cool things we're going to talk about today, because today the theme is Pittsburgh. You'll see why as we go. Today is going to be loosely based around our beloved city right here, guys, in Western Pennsylvania. One of the best, if you ask me my opinion on that. And again, if you live here, you know what I'm talking about. Let's do scoot up here just a hair. M Sparks says, what it do, Ryan? Old boy, salute to you, my man in Thunder. My man, as always, M Sparks, glad to see you, sir. As always, hope everything is well for you. Hope you're recovering from the storm. I know that we're still recovering. Again, the kids are home again. They had them on a 2-hour delay. They kept them home because it's like minus 600 degrees. But it's January. I'm not complaining. It happens every year this time. Let me move along here. Steeler Freak says if Tater invites, if Lindsay invites Tater, he would row a boat. He would get on a kitchen table, tear the legs off, and paddle his ass across that Atlantic Ocean if Lindsay did invite him. I believe that 100%. 154%. I do believe that. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. My man, he says Derpy will show the terrible tits. The terrible tits. There you go. That's the game ball. I apologize, guys. We're 18 minutes and 7 seconds into the show. The game ball has been handed out.
Wow.
Mark Malone, the terrible tits. That is the funniest thing that I've heard. And sometime Tortilla says this: the 2026 draft is brought to you by Biscuits. Tyrone, Finch, Tater. Tater says this: can't believe this new guy over Schwartz. Schwartz pissed went and told Jimmy he's leaving. I don't even know what a Jimmy is, but apparently it's something to do with Cleveland. And that's what's going on. So there you go, Tater. The offer is open to you. You have less than 90 days to figure it out, figure out how to get here, figure out how to finance your way. But get here. Again, if the resident Cleveland Brown fan on our terrible board makes it all the way across the pond, I will put him up in Mike's studio for his duration here, and Finchy will feed him hot dogs, apparently. So there you go. I think it's a win-win if you ask me my opinion, guys. A lot to get into today. We have a lot to get into today, guys. It just keeps rolling in. It truly does as the days go on here. Pittsburgh Steelers off-season, baby. It never ends. It never truly ends. It's a 365 day a year thing for us, for sure. Here's the Two Dum Yinzers. It's been that way for many, many of years, and I'll get to that in just a second as well. M Sparks says, hello, lady. Tater Tot. Of course, that reference that I said often, obviously being the Val Venus reference. You may or may not get that. Tyrone says, I don't blame him. Danny Bowling 559. I do want to say welcome to the show, Danny. Danny says no difference in Tomlin's record and McCarthy's except one playoff win, one defensive minded, the other, and that was my argument all along. Danny. That was my argument all along. Their numbers are almost identical. The only difference being Coach T did get that one extra year. McCarthy took the 1 year off. But if you look at their numbers, it's almost – so the Steelers have a type. The Steelers have a type. We'll get into that type here shortly. And I'm not saying that it's a bad type. I'm just saying I don't know where this is going to lead, but some things changed yesterday. Again, we'll get into all that today. A lot of things going on. Lightning Rod says Steelers draft this year is going to be awesome. Many picks we have, as Lightning Rod and Yoda would say. Many picks we have. I'm going to go right here. I'm Sparks. Taters can come by our tailgate for beer. You know what? You go. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be tailgating. We're going to be down at the draft. Tater, get your ass over here. Again, maybe if Lindsay can entice him a bit, maybe he will be here. He'll be here tomorrow. But maybe that might have to be what does it. Tyrone says, yes, sir. Can't wait to the draft. My friend, of course, Tyrone will be coming over from Western Ohio. Can't wait to see the great GOAT Tyrone making his trek over here to Pittsburgh for the draft in just 80-some days. Yinzer Joe says, Cleveland GM and owner probably wanted Schwartz to stay the defensive coordinator, so they didn't even ask him if he wanted the head coaching job, which is disrespectful in itself. I don't blame him if he wants to leave. I mean, it is Cleveland. I would imagine he would be ready to go like yesterday. Just my opinion on that. Also, Danny says, the definition of insanity. Isn't that what they say? That is kind of the definition of insanity. Tortilla also says Tater would probably get lost in Ohio. What's he even doing in Ohio? Tyrone says this. He says, yeah, but McCarthy offensive mind to better fit West Coast offense. Again, there are some things that caught my attention. We're going to see if they caught your attention today as well as we get into it. Certainly key words were said during this press conference yesterday, and we're going to see if we all caught them. We'll get into so much today. Again, Tortilla, Mike Tomlin wasn't fired. Art Rooney was planning on running it back with McCarthy hires. And you know what? Again, no disrespect to Mike Tomlin. He did his time. He did his service here. He was a head coach for 20 years. I'm not going to badmouth the man anymore. And I didn't badmouth him anyway. I was honest. But I'm going to respect, as I do respect all the former Steelers, everything, coaches, players, all the way down the list, and that's just the way I'm going to be. You can say whatever you want. Again, all opinions are welcome on the board at all times. Don't hesitate to throw anything you got up on the board. Finchy says, I got to meet Tyrone when he comes to town. I hope I can make it to the draft. Finchy, you are going to be cutting it close. You have a Vegas trip right around then, so hopefully you can be here to meet a lot of people coming in from out of town that are involved with the show and watch the show and are very interactive and active on the show. So hopefully you can be there for that as well, Finch. Dan Bowling says this last West Coast offense to win the Super Bowl was 2000. You're right. That's a good point. Very observant. I'm liking Danny this morning. Very observant. I think he picked up on all the key words yesterday. I think a lot of people did. Again, we're going to get into all that. Lightning Rod says Bill Walsh was a football genius. He sure was. He sure was. Those San Francisco teams weren't good for no reason. Yes, they had good players. They had great players. But again, Bill Walsh was a fantastic coach. Tyrone said, yes, sir, my dog. I'm excited to meet the GOAT. Bro, we're excited to meet you. You are the GOAT. You are the GOAT. RB, what's up, brother? Always great seeing the great RB on the terrible board. He says this. McCarthy has ran the LeBeau Fire zone in the past, and it sounds like he wants to do it again. And I've said for years, the first zone is great against these modern offenses. RB, my man, always insightful. Great to see you on the terrible board today, sir. Hope all is well for you as we are here on Hump Day. Here, January 28th, 2026. Guys, I'm going to stop right there for a minute and just repeat what I said. And it isn't anything that you might even think is important. But it is January 28th, 2026. And some of you may know where I'm going with this. Some of you may not. But I'm just going to touch this briefly. January 28th, 1996, 30 years ago, was the first day that I had my heart broken by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was 17 years old, getting ready to graduate high school. I watched the Steelers religiously as a child, as a teen, all the way to that point, and I heard so much about the great 70s team. As I was born in the late 70s, I was still shitting myself, and I didn't get to enjoy these Super Bowl runs that they had in the 70s. So January 28 comes along, 1996, and my Steelers, they make it. An improbable run, if you will. They go 3-4 to start the season. Like, I don't even have any papers. I have no information from me. This is all off of my memory. because, again, this is the impact that it had on me at that point in my life. The Steelers started out 3-4 that season. They lost Rod Woodson in the first game of the year with a blown knee, out for the year. It didn't seem to be a very promising season. They go 3-4, and then they win 8 in a row. Coach Cowher steps in this team that's getting whopped by the Minnesota Vikings, by the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. Again, I have no information in front of me. I wish I had a camera to point to you that it's just all this is all etched in my psyche. We lost to the Jaguars, and we lost to the Bengals, 3-4. Coach Cowher gets these guys so fired up. Says, guys, we have to be 60-minute men from here on out. And this was the theme. Blitzburg was the theme, of course. We know that from them years. But the 60-minute men was a theme that came with that team. And that team bought into that 60-minute men idea of playing 60 minutes. And they changed this team entirely. It transformed them from a 3-7 team to a team that won 8 in a row. They go into the last game of the season. They lose to the Packers 24-19. Again, I have no information in front of me. This is just etched in my mind, my brain forever. On a drop pass at the end of the game by Yancey Thigpen in the end zone. They lose 24-19. They get a bye. They're 11-5. They started 3-4. They're 11-5 heading into the playoffs. They get a bye. They get the Buffalo Bills. The Bills who have been successful, of course, over the past 5 years prior to going to the Super Bowl 4 of those years in a row, and of course, losing them all. We beat up on the Bills in the second round. We get the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC Championship game. And that game comes down to the wire as Jim Harbaugh, that's right, Jim Harbaugh throws up a Hail Mary back in the right-hand corner of the end zone in Pittsburgh, Three River Stadium. And the ball is dropped down. Dropped by a Indianapolis Colt, hits the ground. And all I can remember is hearing the voice go, he dropped it. He dropped it. The Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. It was one of the most magical moments of my life as far as being a sports fan, as far as being a Steeler fan. Greg Lloyd takes the microphone in the post-game press conference on national TV, on ABC, CBS, whatever it was, says a little word, and finishes his phrase up by saying, we're going to the motherfucking Super Bowl on my TV, on all of our TVs. Truly magic. MF'd this. The Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Totally unlikely. Again, 3-4. Bill Cowher steps in with the 60-minute men mindset. And the team played every single minute of the rest of that season. We got 2 weeks off. You had some late night shows. You had Kevin Green going on and meeting Hulk Hogan. They had similar haircuts. A lot of these things. The time finally comes. January 28th, 1996, Tempe, Arizona. Super Bowl 30. XXX. Just how we like him, right, Mike?
Hell yeah, brother.
And a lot of people didn't even give the Steelers a chance because they played the Dallas Cowboys, who had Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, the whole way down the list. It was a great team. And as the Steelers held their own, it was a 13-7 lead at halftime. Yancey Thigpen's touchdown was the only touchdown for the Steelers. They come out in the second half and kick an onside kick and get it back. Now, this unlikely team, fielded by Neil O'Donnell, Bam Morris, Ernie Mills, has a chance to go up on the Dallas Cowboys, this great Cowboys team of the 90s. And it was eventually 20-17 at one point. Dallas, we get the ball, and Neil O'Donnell throws it away to Larry Brown. It appears we've had Steelers on the show in the past. They told us how it went. One of these two throws was our fault. One of these was the quarterback's fault. One was the receiver's fault. And we were 3 points away. And again, we stopped them. I think they scored. It ended up being 27-17 at that point. And then we get it again, and we start driving. And Neil O'Donnell again throws the ball right to Larry Brown in the same spot on the field. And the Steelers ultimately lose 27-17 on this day 30 years ago in the desert. Tempe, Arizona, January 28, 1996 was the first heartbreak Yes, I didn't like it when they lost in the playoffs the year before to the Chargers in the 3 more yards game. Yes, I didn't like it when they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs and Joe Montana in that playoff game. But this was my first heartbreak, guys. 30 years ago today, I could point it down to the minute. I could point it down to where I was at, where I was doing. Guys, 30 years ago today was it, as we are at the 30-minute mark of the show. I'm going to continue on, but this was the day, guys. 30 years ago, my first broken heart. And again, at 17, I mean, yeah, you got little things going on. Of course, you have love lives and this and that and grades. But that was my first broken heart, guys. Pittsburgh Steelers lose 27-17 30 years ago today. In Super Bowl 30, guys. Let's move on. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to see everybody on the terrible board. I don't want to get too far behind today. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to do everything I got to do to keep up with the terrible board today, guys. You are what it's all about. We do welcome, we do love, and we do say, let's do this. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. We got a lot of things to get into. I'm going to start with just some general information. The East-West Shrine Bowl was yesterday. If you caught that, there was some interesting players, some good, again, these are good games to watch, to have an idea what's coming up. Some of these guys aren't going to make the draft. Some of these guys are going to still be lingering around after the draft, getting signed in non-draft signing situations. So again, to learn these players is good. That way, down the road, you have an idea of what we're dealing with, what's going on around the league, and maybe somebody that you might see on another team. You're like, oh, you know what? He was good. Yesterday, last night was the Shrine Bowl, guys. Also, the Senior Bowl is coming up on Saturday. That is another game that you might want to keep an eye on. That is the Senior Bowl. Some other notable dates moving forward, of course, in the league, guys. February 23rd to March 2nd is the Combine in Indianapolis. That is coming up again here in less than a month. That's going to be something to keep in mind on, keep your eye on moving into the draft season. We're going to get into that big time this year right here on the show. The draft coming here in Pittsburgh, of course. And then again on also on March 11 is the free agency date in the NFL, and it's also what they consider the new league year. That is when the NFL literally starts over. If you haven't known or noticed, the league begins on March 11 and then goes the whole way through the year. So it's how they handle the business of the league. March 11, of course, being the new year for the NFL, guys. So those are some some dates to keep in mind, memorable dates, important dates, to keep in mind. Let me say a couple things before we really get rolling here, because this is a Pittsburgh themed day. I think if you've seen the press conference yesterday from Mike McCarthy, I think you're feeling the Pittsburgh mood. I know I'm feeling the Pittsburgh mood. Let me say this, one more thing about the about Pittsburgh before we do fully get into things. Heinz, of course, everybody loves Heinz ketchup. Who doesn't love Heinz ketchup? Heinz is set to launch the 120-ounce ketchup keg. The 120-ounce. Think about how much 120 ounces of ketchup is. Think of a 40-ounce bottle of alcohol. Fill that up 3 times with ketchup. This is going to be available by Heinz. If you love your Heinz ketchup, you can certainly get that, guys. Moving forward, as Heinz is getting ready to launch their 120-ounce keg of ketchup to be available for sale and for purchase coming soon. So that is some Pittsburgh-related news heading into today. This is a Pittsburgh-themed day, guys. I think Mike McCarthy set the tone as he came yesterday, spoke. There's things that you can do, there's things that you can't do, and there's some things that it is the way it is. And guys, I came to that conclusion yesterday. This is the reality. This is what we're gonna have to deal with, and unless this guy gets fired in the next 5 years, I'm talking about Mike McCarthy, he will be our head coach. So it is where it is. So like it, love it, whatever the case. I respect everybody. I mean, you have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and you know what? It's all welcome here. So again, you have any opinions, love, hate, whatever, do throw it up on the board. We'd love to see it all. I do want to say this as well. The Pro Bowl next Tuesday. We talked about the Pro Bowl. I'm not going to get into the Pro Bowl a whole lot today, but I'm going to explain. I read why they changed the Pro Bowl to Tuesday. Nothing happens on Tuesday. Doesn't even have a feel. Monday has a feel. Friday has a feel. But no Tuesday. Tuesday has no feel, guys. But next Tuesday will be the Pro Bowl game for the NFL. The reasoning, they didn't want us to seem isolated this weekend. They wanted to include it in the week of Super Bowl festivities, activities, etc., etc., etc. This is exactly why. This is why the Pro Bowl games will be on Tuesday. Again, flag football, if that's your thing, just to get to see all the guys together down wherever it is this year. I was in Florida last I knew. I used to be in Hawaii forever. But Tuesday will be the Pro Bowl games of next week. So just as the Shrine Bowl was yesterday, it'll be some Tuesday football, if you will, next week. That is the reason. That is the reason why that is going down the way that it is, guys. But we do have new up-to-the-date information. We're going to get that out right now. The Cleveland Browns did hire their new head coach. And it doesn't seem, from what I see, just general Browns fans so far, doesn't seem they're too thrilled about the new hire in Cleveland, as they hire offensive coordinator from the Baltimore Ravens, Todd Monken. Guys, Todd Monken is the new head coach. Jim Schwartz is going. He was the defensive coordinator. He was who they hoped. I think he was their secondary hope. I think they would have liked to get somebody better from outside of the organization. He's leaving, and also Todd Monken, who grossly underachieved in Baltimore, will again be the Cleveland Browns head coach moving forward. You gotta love it if you are if you love football. You gotta love that news. Again, it's very Brown-like to me, very Cleveland Brown-like. And again, the MVP quarterback, the Derrick Henry, the finishing under 500, the offense that couldn't beat the Steelers twice in this year. The team that was supposed to finish over the Steelers, but they finished again under 500 as the Steelers wins the division. So again, good luck, Cleveland, I think. That is the news, guys, as Todd Monken is hired by the Cleveland Browns. He will be their new head coach, so we'll keep an eye on this until they fire him and go to the next. It is just kind of what they do in Cleveland. We've grown to accept it here in Pittsburgh, and we're here for every single moment of it, guys. Let's go on. And you know what? They have the let me give you a little bit of an update here real quick first, guys. I'll give you the update on the up-to-the-moment hirings. Todd Monken, of course, to the Browns. That was this morning. Joe Brady, the Buffalo Bills' new head coach, is a guy named Joe Brady. Our coach, of course, no surprises. Ravens new head coach is Jesse Minter. The Giants, of course, is the Ravens' former coach, John Harbaugh. Kevin Stefanski goes to the Falcons. The Dolphins hired Jeff Hafley. The Titans hired Robert Saleh, and also the Cardinals and the Raiders. They are the two teams that are left, guys. The Cardinals and the Raiders, they are still looking for their coaches. I do know that the Cardinals did interview Ron Rivera. He's right around 500.
Ron, baby.
He's right around 500. So, to be fair, he took the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl in 2015. So, again, it's par for what Arizona does. I'm not gonna give them shit as we give Cleveland. Cleveland does that. They deserve it. They deserve the shit. Arizona, I'm not going to give them the shit. I don't know why. I don't have anything against them. But again, they talked to Ron Rivera. He did take the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. So again, that is the update on the head coaching situations, Mike, all around the league as we speak. So the Raiders and the Cardinals, the only two teams that are left. All those big names that you heard, Mike, none of them are in any of these spots.
That was what I was gonna say. That's what jumped out to me. These hot, young, innovative, offensive-minded head coaches or offensive coordinators or pass game coordinators. Not a single one of them has been named head coach.
Very interesting.
Me, like throughout the league, they probably want those guys to be offensive coordinators first before they make that jump. They want to see how are you going to do as the main primary play callers. McVay calls all the plays down in LA. Shellhouse, maybe take a offensive coordinator job somewhere to help boost your resume to show these teams that, hey, look, I can run my own offense. I can do this. Shula, he was a big name. The Steelers were talking to him. Everyone's like, oh my God, the Steelers get him in Saku. He's not being talked about anywhere else outside of Pittsburgh. So it's weird that all of a sudden, all these big names that we're talked about, not a single one hired. I haven't heard any of them linked to Las Vegas or Arizona. So it's wild. Like, if I'm Arizona and if I'm the Raiders, I'm doing everything I can to go talk to these guys. One, to find out why were they passed over, and two, were all these other teams stupid for passing these guys over? It's just wild, man, what's going on. Because you hear all these names and they don't pan out. Kind of like the draft. You hear all these names and it never falls the way you think it's going to fall.
I'm just going to spot take a comment that I'm just seeing right in front of my face. Of course, I'm going to get into everything. I'm going to try to keep up with the comments, but right in front of my face, I see TC, and I do want to say welcome to my Aliquippa neighbor. He says this Monken is interesting because he has to face Jackson. You know what? I think he's going to make Jackson successful, finally. As he's the new head coach in Cleveland, but we'll see. We'll certainly keep an eye on that and so much more. Let me ask you this: we're going to move forward. We're going to get into this. Of course, the Mike McCarthy press conference. That's the big story of the day. But do you want to? You guys want to talk about the Bill Bellichick snub before we do that? Anybody? Bill Belichick being snubbed? All right, let's do that real quick.
Yes.
Bill Belichick. Tell me this. Listen, I said that this league has become strange as of late, as they started calling it sports entertainment, which is what they call wrestling. And as Vegas jumped into bed with the NFL about 5 years ago, it's been a strange league. I don't think that anybody could deny that. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they had more fourth quarter lead changes in the first round of the playoffs this year than they ever had in playoffs in the history of the sport. This is a very interesting league nowadays, guys. So with that being said, let's talk about how interesting this year has been. Well, this year yielded Shedeur Sanders a Pro Bowl spot. He was literally the third worst out of the possible 43 starting quarterbacks that could by passer rating. He was bottom 3. Only 2 guys were better than him. Shedeur Sanders is on the Pro Bowl. And let me follow that up by saying Bill Belichick, who won 6 Super Bowls, many AFC championship games, the whole way down the line, he gets snubbed from the NFL Hall of Fame, which I think is the correct move. I'm not going to argue that one bit, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he's a cheetah. That's why.
Exactly.
That's why people were shaking their heads saying, how? How can you? He's a cheater. There was controversy. There was scandal every year.
The NFL burnt the fucking tapes because they were that bad.
The Flakegate, Spygate. If there was a gate, he had it. And that is exactly why. You're right, Danny. I agree. I couldn't agree more. But I listen. That's why. That's why people thought that he was just going to go smiling into the Hall of Fame, which is BS. The guy cheated his whole career. How can you pretend to not understand what's going on? But again, in hindsight, in the big picture, is a strange year. Watergate, he's even involved in. Armac is saying, how can you be surprised again by just the year that it's been? Again, the league seems to be changing, and I can't identify exactly what it is, but there's changes going on around this league. But again, I think that those two things can certainly signify what kind of year this has been. Again, Shedeur Sanders going to the Pro Bowl game, Bill Belichick getting the snub. Guys, who knows what's going to happen here next in the NFL? All we know is the Pittsburgh Steelers are heading into next season after winning the division, which they said that we weren't going to do, after making the playoffs, after they said that wasn't going to happen. But we do know that we are moving forward. We have a new head coach, and still all the naysayers, they just sit back and just say the nay. And we just continue moving forward because that's what the Steelers do, and that's what Steeler culture is all about. Describe Steeler culture how you want. Steeler culture is winning football, and it's been that way for 60 years. So, guys, we're here for it. We're moving forward as the league is being crazy. I think it's gonna even itself out eventually. But this is just where we be at the time, Mike.
I'm loving Bill Belichick not being in the Hall of Fame. Him and Brady and a lot of the Patriots and even Kraft are likely to still be involved with the NFL. I'm sorry, you question the integrity of the NFL. I don't care that, other coaches are like, oh, we tried to do this shit. Well, they got caught. You didn't. You violated the integrity of the sport. They should have been kicked out of the league when this happened. They should have been blackballed immediately. It's just as bad as betting on baseball or betting on football, betting on your gambling on the league.
Mike, should they treat him the same way they treat Pete Rose?
They should have been gone.
Should they treat him the same way they treat Pete Rose?
Yes. Tom Brady and Robert Kraft. It starts from the top down. They all should have been gone. Anyone involved in it should have been barred from the league. It should have been like the Black Sox scandal, man. Like, you're videotaping a team to illegally, you're going against the rules. And it went on for years. The league destroyed all video evidence because they didn't want to get it want it to get out because of how bad it was. Like, Robert Kraft had fucking Goodell by the balls, and that's why they got a slap on the wrist for, a first-round draft pick and $1.5 million in fines. They got off fucking light, and then people want to sit there and cry like, oh, it's not fair to them why are they being punished? Because they fucking cheated.
It's not fair.
Game. That's all we talked about for 5 fucking years.
It's not fair because what they did was unfair to other people by cheating. So again,
Bill Bellichick. He was called Bill Bellichick for how many years?
And they were called the cheat
winning, and everyone forgot about it.
Absolutely. So there you go, Mike. I'm gonna get back on the board here, guys. Welcome. I'm seeing a lot of new names, seeing a lot of new faces. I'm seeing a lot of new comments, guys. Please bear with me. I'm gonna jump in right here, right around here. Perfect. I think I found the spot. What is the weirdest? Yinzer Joe said this. What is the weirdest to me? McCarthy was asked about bringing Rodgers back. He was for it, but at the same time, he said, you know what? I think that was a very safe way to answer the Aaron Rodgers question. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's riding on the idea of Aaron Rodgers leading this team. I'm going to be honest. What was he going to say? He's sitting at the press conference and be like, nah, I don't think so. That was a very safe answer. I wouldn't bet on Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback for the Steelers, and I don't think he should be the quarterback for the Steelers moving forward as we continue to move forward. Instead of sitting here hoping that Aaron can save us game to game, we should be moving forward, in my opinion. Tater says this. God in the rumor. This moron wants to give Predator Watson another go. It is just getting better. This Cleveland news is just getting better as the day goes on. Who knows what it's going to be by the end of this day? Who knows what it's going to be? They're just going to give up and say, you know what, we're not even in the league anymore. But you know what? For a team that won all their championships when there was only 6 other teams in the league, maybe have they ever really been an NFL team? I don't know. But let's just move on here. Yinzer Joe says, yeah, damn, Neil O'Donnell failed us. Broke my heart. Broke my little heart. Broke my little teenage heart, he did. Danny Bowling says this. I feel you. I'm 51 years old, but my man, I'm 47, so we experienced the same thing. You were drinking alcohol, but at the time I was 17. Steel Menace, what's up, bro? I remember that season. Absolutely, still great having you back, my man, all the way from Hawaii. Aloha to you. Let's scoot up here a little bit. Finchy says this. I was in 6th grade. My homeroom teacher was a huge Cowboys fan. He had a poster of Smith and Aikman in his classroom. That Monday after the game was a tough one. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to school, but it wasn't for that. I never wanted to go. But anyway, different time, different story. Cody says, what's up, my baldies? What's up, brother? Always great seeing the Code Man on the terrible board. My man, Cody. What's up, dude? Afternoon, TC, my Aliquippa neighbor. Always great seeing TC on the board. Hope all is well with you, man. Hope things are getting back in your area, on your streets. I know that it's hard to even leave the house still with all this snow piled on the side of the roads. And I know that's everywhere. But my man, my neighbor, TC, Yinzer Joe says, I don't know why Neil O'Donnell kept throwing the ball to Larry Brown. Steeler Freak says, I heard Mike is a 60-second guy. That's being awfully generous, it is, John. Mike is a 60-second guy.
Efficiency. It's all about efficiency, baby. And got to be efficient.
M. Sparks says, as far as I'm concerned, A-Rod can sit his washed-up ass on them pockets, enjoy retirement. Absolutely. That's where I'm at, too. And with the pictures I see, mushrooms and everything else. Yes, go enjoy your life, bro. Again, I don't want to sit around and hope that Aaron Rodgers can save us from week to week. I want to figure out ways to win games so we can move forward. If we lose a game that maybe Aaron Rodgers could have won, you know what, so be it. That's the part of moving ahead. You can't keep hiring a 40-some-year-old quarterback if you're trying to build a new identity, if you will, moving forward. Mike Jones, Cody says, also Browns still suck. Tortilla, we all agree on that. Let me scoot up right here. Danny says this, had my heart broken last year and this year last getting Aaron Rodgers and this year with McCarthy. Cody says, did they have to hire one of their own because nobody wanted to be their coach? Who? Cleveland? Probably. I would guess so. M. Sparks says, can Greenfield Mike be the hometown hero? Again, today's going to be awfully Pittsburgh themed, all the way down to the trivia question, guys. So keep that in mind. This is a Pittsburgh day for our beloved city. We're going to, again, as this is the last day, this is the day of change. This is the year of change. This is the last day of season 8 for the Two Dum Yinzers, guys, breaking into season 9 tomorrow. So again, it's all about the Berg today, baby. That's the theme of the day. TC says if O'Donnell wouldn't have thrown that pick, bro. I thought about that pick for years. as a lot of people did as well, I think. Tortilla says, nah, the Browns hired Ravens offense. Yes, they did. They hired Todd Monken, who, again, did such a great job with the MVP quarterback and Derrick Henry and those young receivers. They said, I got to have me some of that. The Browns said, I got to have me some of that. A team that was supposed to win the division that started 1-5. A team that came down to the last game of the year. They blew it. A team that finished under 500. The Browns said, I got to have me some of that. I got to have me some Todd Monken. Of course, they did hire Todd Monken today as their head coach in Cleveland. They're down to two. We're down to two teams, Arizona and the Raiders, looking for their head coaches. And again, the latest I have on that search, Ron Rivera, who's right around 500. I think one game under 500 in his career. He did lead the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl in 2015. He did interview with Arizona. Haven't heard anything for the Raiders. I think people were trying to avoid the Raiders at all costs, and can you blame them? But they do get the number one pick, so do what you want with that. Cody Armax says, Cody booing back. The guys, gang, my man Jamal on the board. Always great seeing you, sir. Hope all is well for you, my friend. Lightning Rod says, Browns officially named Todd Monken as their new head coach. It's true. Todd Monken is the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. You got to love it. You got to love the way they do things up in the Mistake by the Lake. Cody says, yeah, Mike.
I say the Browns are the gift that keeps on giving.
They are the Brown that keeps on the gift that keeps on giving. You're right.
Yeah, and speaking of the gift that keeps on giving, we have requested to have an interview with their special teams coordinator to be our new special teams coordinator.
Who's special teams coordinator?
The Browns special teams coordinator.
Let's just hope that don't happen. But all right, let's roll with that. JPJ sucks, Cody says, and I know that without reading any further, I imagine that Tyrone is probably going to lose his mind after reading that. Cody says, extend Patrick Queen. Cody says, bring back Darius Slay. Cody is in full form today.
Cody's in full chaos goblin mode.
I love it, Cody. Great to have you, my man. Lightning Rod says, Todd Monken. He was the Ravens offensive coordinator, and he was even with the Browns. They fired him before. So, again, they find it a great idea to bring him back as their head coach. You got to love it. Cody again says cut Gainwell. Jamal says, my bad. I mean, hey, bro, you're all right, dude. He goes, yo, reading the whole board is impossible. We don't blame you for missing any. You're the GOAT, dude. Jamal, you know that. You are the GOAT. Danny says this, James Harrison, defensive coordinator. I do know that James Harrison did say, what did he say? James Harrison said this, Debo would rather start Howard than re-sign Aaron Rodgers. And I agree with Debo. And you know what? I realize that I agree with more with Debo than I thought that I did in the past. A lot of things come from that man's mouth that makes a lot of sense these days. He just calls it the way it is, and I like that. Debo thinks we should go with the younger quarterback and kind of set a new identity as we try to start a new era for the Steelers guys moving forward. Again, can we continue to just hope that and he's going to win games. Aaron's going to win you some games, as he did. But should we continue to hope that a 43-year-old guy can continue to get these wins for us? Why not move forward? If you have to take a bump, you have to take a lump, you have to take a loss. It is what it is. You got to move forward at some point. Otherwise, the guy's going to be halfway to 100. And we're going to still be wondering if he's coming to save the day. No, guys, it's time to move on. It's Steeler football. Aaron Rodgers was a Band-Aid, a bridge, if you will. It's time to move on. Let's get back to Steeler football. All right, I am passing the 100. The 100 comment mark on the board. Play Mason Rudolph is what Cody is saying. TC says Monken is interesting because he has to face Jackson, of course. So that will be interesting. I think he's going to make Lamar Jackson successful eventually, just maybe on the other team now. Tyrone says, Cody, shush. Lightning Rod says Jason Whitlock said that that quarterback Lamar Jackson hasn't spoken to his offensive coordinator in 4 months, and that Lamar got John Harbaugh fired. Quite very possible. Very possible. He's the man over there. You know what I mean? You don't have an MVP on your team and it doesn't have some say. I certainly think that he has say. I just think that maybe he needs to have some accomplishments now to add with his say. But again, my opinion. Let me move forward. Steeler Freak says this: the Steelers have a 0.02% chance to win the Super Bowl next year. Also, Tyrone says Steel Gang. Yinzer Joe, I'd rather start Skylar Thompson Plumlee than Rudolph. Cody says Cody Gang. Steeler Freak. I thought that's what you meant. He said a 0.2% chance. Tater says for 2% better more than the Browns. Absolutely. I don't even think that the Browns are in the positives when it comes to this, but I don't know. Jamal, damn, 4 months without talking to the OC is crazy. That's problems. You got problems, guys. I do want to say welcome to Lisa. Lisa on the Terrible Board. Great to have you. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Welcome to the show. She says, give the man a chance. I agree. We have no choice, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like him, dislike him, love him, whatever it was. Any coach that I've ever had here, it was what it was, and I got behind him when the season came down to it. And I was thinking mostly about trying to win football games. So at the end of the day, it's all going to come together. People are going to be fine. It's the initial days. I mean, come on, we just got the press conference yesterday. We're going to get into that press conference here shortly. Some of the keys that were taken from that press conference that I certainly picked out of it. We'll see if you guys picked out as well. But again, very early and very early. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll continue. We'll get back around. But welcome, Lisa. Great to have you on the board. Ty says JPJ is the GOAT, and I couldn't agree more. JPJ, pay that man. He ain't going nowhere. He's not going, Ty. He's not going anywhere. I mean, come on. Mike, there's no way that we don't pay JPJ money.
No, they're going to find a way to keep him. There's no way. We finally got someone who can be a number one lockdown corner. You don't let them leave. You can let an edge rusher leave, but a lockdown corner, you don't let leave.
I agree.
Quarterback, left tackle, corner are still the three most important positions in the NFL. That will never change.
At the end of the day, you get your production that you get out of a rusher. But at the end of the day, you can't have somebody that can't lock down. You can't have somebody that can't cover number one. You can't have somebody that, again, Joey Porter is going to get paid, guys, and I'm all here. I'm here for it. Cody says he spoke. I thought he cried almost. You know what? He might have cried. He might have cried. Lightning Rod said they should remove high fructose corn syrup from ketchup and from everything else. You know what? I'm kind of into I kind of like my high fructose corn syrup. I don't know what it is, but I know once they started changing the recipe for everything, things don't taste the same anymore. I don't know. Fast food don't even taste the same anymore. And I've always loved fast food. I don't know what they're doing to our food. I don't know what they're doing to our food. But let me move on. RB. Garrett Nussmeyer has been coached and mentored by Mike McCarthy since the age of 11. McCarthy's wife and Nussmeyer's mom were childhood best friends. Watch out for that. That's not a bad point, RB. I was reading this connection a little bit. I know that a lot of some people like the idea of the kid from LSU going into last season as possibly being a dark horse for the Steelers, and he certainly isn't named as a first-round quarterback guy, so he could be a potential later-round pick, Mike. What do you think?
That's a hard pass.
You don't
like to give him a chance this season. I watched him play a little bit, and no, God, no.
So you're going off of one season? You don't think everything, all of his accomplishments up to that point was we're going off of this one season?
Oh no! This year he should have taken a bigger step forward. He took a step back. You got to keep moving forward, and he's taking steps backwards. That's not a good sign.
All right. Tortilla says Rooney smelled so bad it made McCarthy cry. I thought it was Derpy's Christmas hams again. That made me cry. But there you go. Jamal says this. Scoot down a little bit. Jamal, I saw some JPJ highlights. Couldn't make it through 30 seconds. LOL. Dan says, new viewer, love your show. Hey, bro, thank you, Dan. Always great to see new faces, new names, and your comments are awesome, man. Welcome and thank you. Cody says, Art Rooney just sat there. All stupid told us that he only takes the safe route when we interview 3 people and wanted the safest choice. Give the man some bubble wrap. Jamal says, damn it, RB sounds like we might be drafting, and I hope not, though at least not in the first 3 rounds. Excuse me. Tortilla says making money is scary. Jamal says, LOL, I tried. Tyrone, Cody says, I swear I seen him yawning during the interview. Jamal, absolutely they're underrated, the Patriots. I think they beat one team with a winning record this year. I think. I could be wrong. But if you look it up, I think it's very possible that the Patriots literally beat one team this year that finished with a winning record. And I could be wrong. I thought that I'd seen this. I could be dreaming. And if it's true, it's even crazier. But yes, I think that the Patriots are highly overrated. And their path to the Super Bowl was kind of simple. they don't make that choice. It just was what it was, but they benefited again by some unfortunate things going on. Of course, Denver losing their starting quarterback, the Chargers having no offensive line. Again, these aren't things that you can control, but they were able to take advantage. They are in the Super Bowl, and I do think that they are overrated, and this is why I do take Seattle to win next Sunday night. I'm going to go right here. Bingo, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Bingo. He says Browns going to Browns, I guess. They sure are. Never changed, never will. It's just what it is. Ginzer Joe says Steelers just hired Adam Henry as receivers coach. Is that true? And I do take your word, Ginzer Joe. Mike?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they just hired him. He was the Bills receivers coach. He coached some time down in Dallas. He's worked with some guys like C.D. Lamb, helped develop Khalil Shakir up in Buffalo. Hopefully that does not mean we are trading for Keon Coleman in the offseason. If we are, I might just, go jump off a bridge.
Cody says Joe Brady coached Burrow at LSU, Allen at the Bills. That's a dangerous choice of coach. I like the pickup. Cody likes that. P, what's up, dude? Always great seeing P from Japan, all the way from the other side of the globe. P Morton, what's up, brother? Always another OG on the board today. Grossly underachieved. Pretty much a perfect description of the Browns. You ain't kidding. Nice seeing you, P. Hope all is going well for you in Japan. Lightning Rod says, well, thanks, Yinzer. Yes, thank you, Yinzer Joe, my man. Always coming through in the clutch. Cody says, maybe 5 years we can get Pete Carroll. let's see how these 5 go first. And again, I understand. I listen, my tune kind of changed after the press conference. And he did say all the right things, and I acknowledge that. But again, at the end of the day, what can we do? You can either, get ready for football as we do, or be bitter about it. And again, even with Aaron Rodgers, somebody that I wasn't a big fan of, when it comes down to it, he was my quarterback. And at the end of the day, that's who I was going to be rooting for on Sundays. And that's just kind of where we're at now. We like him, don't like him. Let's go through the process, and maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. If he wins the big one, again, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But one thing I do know, he's excited. He's excited to be coaching here. And sometimes that goes a long way. When trying to motivate people, just being excited and so again, it's a lot to get into, guys. We are going to get into that as we are cracking into the second half of the show. I don't want to miss out too much more because I do want to get into this press conference shortly, and again, I don't want to miss out a lot on the board. So we're kicking ass today, guys. Kicking ass, taking names, moving forward. Here we go. Somber says this, not so much a carousel, more like a shuffle. I like it. Tortilla says, do you think Shula and Shilhash really did have bad interviews? I didn't really believe it at first, but no one else has signed them yet. It's an interesting question because, as Mike was saying at the beginning of the show, it seems like everybody got a job in the NFL except for those 2 guys. What could possibly be wrong with them, unless there's obviously another plan already in place for what they got going on with the Rams or what they ultimately want to do with their careers. But again, very peculiar that neither one of those guys are even catching interviews now that the Rams season is over, Mike, and other people or these teams are getting their coaches hired and ready to go.
Yeah. And from what I've been seeing online, all signs and indications point to Shellis going back and staying with the Rams, not going to go be an OC anywhere. So it looks like for coach or bust, which I respect that, thinking betting on yourself, but maybe go be an OC somewhere else, spread your wings, gather more knowledge, make yourself more attractive to these owners. Hell, man. And if you like the gig where you're at, hell yeah, dude, go back to it, and the Rams will probably end up giving you more money. But it is just weird, man. It is just weird that everyone was talking these guys.
It's bizarre,
the whole process for the Steelers, and they can go here and then nothing. Wild. It's wild.
Maybe the script, Mike. Maybe the script.
All the old guys got hired back.
All right, let's move on. Tyrone says, I'm glad we went with Mike McCarthy. You know what? I wasn't at first. You know how I felt. I'm pretty consistent, and I always said I kind of lumped him in with those 3 quarterbacks. I find those 3 quarterbacks to be very similar, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be the correct move. But after that press conference, it eased my pain a little bit. And again, I don't know what we're going to get. And I still clump them in with this particular style of coach that's been passed by in the league. And they have basically the same exact track record. And I'm talking, of course, about Mike McCarthy, Mike Tomlin, and John Harbaugh. They basically have the same exact track record, by playoffs, by everything. And I kind of was thinking that we were trying to get away from that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, guys. But anyway, you slice it. He is the new head coach. Mark Malone says we got the right guy in Big Daddy Yinzer. Danny says McCarthy wasn't talked about outside this. That's what I'm saying. I think Tennessee was the only other team that had any interest in Mike McCarthy, which was kind of a surprise of why they jumped on him so fast. That's what surprised me, was just how fast. Again, Saturday, the day Mike McCarthy got hired, less than 2 weeks after their playoff loss to Houston, and the step down by Coach T. So again, a lot of people surprised by the way things have been going. Cody says this. He says that Danny Tortilla, he had 2 other interviews, if I'm not wrong. Probably not for head coach, though. Where is Lindsay? Armac is saying probably hiding from Tater, I'm guessing, because Tater he's in a rare mood today.
Smart move.
Rare form today, Tater is. As he gets a new head coach, as Cleveland Browns, of course, do hire Todd Monken, who was so successful as the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator with the weapons they do have. Again, the Browns said, I got to have me some of this. I got to get me some of this. Todd Monken, they hired him this morning. Danny says it's a travesty. Tortilla says shoveling snow. That's all you got. That's all we can do these days is shovel snow, guys. TC says, remember I said yesterday, expect the unexpected. You sure did. He sure did. And just like pro wrestling in a way. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they do refer to NFL as sports entertainment now. Do what you want with that. Finchy says, LOL, F the cheater Bellichick. Danny says, only because of Dion. Of course, talking about Shador getting the same reason Shador got his number retired at Colorado after just 2 seasons. And one of those seasons being a 6-win season, I think, or somewhere around. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Watergate, Tortilla. I don't know how many players in the Hall of Fame were juicing. They haven't taken the Super Bowls away. Still count. Or are we going to keep Brady out too? You know what?
We should.
Until we get over the pain of all those losses, I say yes. Let's keep them the hell out of the Hall of Fame and let us still recover here in Pittsburgh. Many times they took us out en route to a possible Super Bowl run for us. PP says this, anything to get people to tune into that flag football game. Tuesday, guys. Next Tuesday, again, the All-Pro game. The Pro Bowl game, I'm sorry. Tuesday. It's the beginning of the festivities for Super Bowl week. They're changing it from Sunday to Tuesday, so don't if you like it, you want to watch the guys play flag football, maybe they'll do ballerina next year. We'll see. But that is Tuesday. Ballet, I guess it would be called. Steeler Freak says the NFL craft, the players and media had to tolerate Bill Belichick as soon as he lost a step. They all dumped him. You know who didn't dump him, though? Oh, a hot college girl. Come on. He's winning somehow. He's still winning in life, even at this point. Either Joe says 3 quarterbacks were originally selected before Shador was selected as a replacement. That's why exactly. I mean, it just shows you how much of a joke, and it almost tells me that they're trying to destroy the Pro Bowl game. As again, they're just not interested in doing it. And to me, at the end of the day, again, call me whatever. I think it's more for the kids. I enjoy the Pro Bowl game as a kid. I enjoy the slam dunk contest and home run contests. And as you get older, you just don't. You're taking that away from them, and whatever. Do what you got to do. If that's what you feel is right, go ahead and do it. Steeler Freak says the Brady success media story saved the Pats and Bill Belichick. M. Sparks says, hate to say it, but nothing is legitimate when it comes to corporate America. You know what? There's a lot of corruption out there, my friend. I couldn't agree with you more. And again, I touched on politics at the top of the show. I vouch to never do it again because I think that it's way more harmful. It's not about politics anymore. It's other things are going on, and I think people are now starting to see that. So let's wise up, guys. I don't think we're as much against one another as we think that we are. I'm just saying. I'll leave it at that. Armac says, how has this team handled the hire, especially amid Tomlin departure? It seems good. Players seem and again, you lost a guy that everybody loved. Mike Tomlin was a guy that was loved by every player that he coached. Of course, people were going to be reluctant. Of course, people were going to be hesitant. Of course. I get that. Imagine you're working at your job. And let's just say everything isn't going well, but you really like your boss. And he walks away. And now you got to deal with the new boss. You don't know what to expect. You're going to be reluctant. You're going to say, everyone liked the other guy. What was the problem? Maybe the job wasn't getting done like they wanted to, and they go with the new guy, and you have to decide if you're going to like the new guy or not. And I understand that. I understand it because I've seen it and I lived it. in my normal life. So I don't blame anybody. It's a time. We're all going through it, guys, with our Steelers. And again, hopefully we could all come out on the other end and get ready for some Super Bowl victories. Bring that Lombardi back to Pittsburgh, where it belongs. Let me go right here. Right there. Tortilla says, I heard McCarthy shoved Calvin Austin III into a locker and told him to do his homework. Quip, that's right, Armac on the board all day. Quip all day, baby. Jamal, 1995, I was 10 years old and have hated the Cowboys ever since. Me too. And it's been great to see them not be back to the NFC Championship since that season. The only team in the NFC that has not been to the NFC Championship game since that year. So that kind of makes it better, Mike.
That's so much better. The tears from Cowboys fans sustain me. They keep me hydrated.
Armac, he's not washed. Also, Steeler Freak says, define washed. Can Rodgers play? Yes, he can play. Can he win a Super Bowl? I agree. That's you're going to get Aaron Rodgers. What you've seen last year is what you're going to get at 42 years old. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. He's going to help you win football games. And at the end of the day, if you're building a team around him, I think you're absolutely insane. And that's why I think that it's important for this team to move forward. As we do move forward, Tortilla says, I'd say washed as Kenny Pickett. You know what? Kenny Pickett's probably going to be the Raiders. Well, you know what? I don't know. They're going to probably draft Mendoza. So I don't know what's going on with Kenny, but we will see. Vinci gang. Also, let me scoot right up here too. Yinzer Joe Rodgers isn't washed. He got a team that was supposed to finish last in the division, won the division, went to the playoffs, and not saying to bring him back, but it was his play that got us. You're right. I mean, and that's what it would be again. We're going to be hanging on if Aaron Rodgers can get these things done for us. I just don't think that's the move. And again, I think that Mike McCarthy took the safe route by answering the Aaron Rodgers question yesterday. What are you supposed to say? No, the guy that was my friend my whole life and we won a Super Bowl together, I just don't think he's going to work. The guy had to ride the crowd, and he said all the right things yesterday. I truly do believe that. I'm going to get into him so shortly here, guys. I do want to catch up on the terrible board as much as I can. Before I do that, TC says, well, Jim Schwartz is calling Pittsburgh. Steeler Freak says this, the Bengals injuries and playing like ass added to the division title. Rodgers is winning. He's not going to win him the Super Bowl. And again, I think it's just a lot. We have to move forward as a team. We got to decide what you want to do with Will Howard. Is he going to be the guy that we're going to try to move forward with, or is he not? And if he's not, we got to figure out what we're going to do. And again, I just think grabbing for straws on a 43-year-old man to help us get wins is not really helping the team. Ultimately, trying to move into the right direction, because again, you're kind of depending on him to get these wins and do the things that he does and know the things that he knows. Yes, could he be beneficial as teaching some of the younger guys? Absolutely. But again, I think that we probably should get past Aaron Rodgers. Let me move on. Ravens also, Steeler Freak says, Mark Malone, Howard is smart enough to run the A-Rod offense, doesn't have the arm A-Rod does. 24/7 Armax says, Bingo says, start Howard, A-Rod as his backup. Anything, I just don't know. I mean, do you think that A-Rod would want to come hang out? Maybe with Mike McCarthy there. But he would basically become the Charlie Batch. He would just have a uniform, and they would let him stand on the sideline. And, I don't know. I don't know if he would be interested in anything like that. And then when Bingo says this, if he doesn't want to do that, then F him. Simple. Go right here. Armax says A-Rod as a backup is crazy. He should retire. Danny's saying if they love Aaron Rodgers so much, make him retire. Hire him as a quarterback coach. And what we got to remember, too, in Pittsburgh about Aaron Rodgers, he loves Green Bay. And he may come out and said it last year. My whole life, my whole career was in Green Bay. Everything I did was Green Bay. So we are a step in his career. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem likely that he would want to come to Pittsburgh and help develop and blah, blah, blah. I could be wrong. Ty says, what I miss? Not too much, man. I'm still kind of going on and on. Tortilla saying we cut JPJ. Finchie, JPJ is a player worth building your team around. He's like 2.0. He's like Taylor 2.0. Not the greatest, not the worst, but very damn good. I pay JPJ. I think that's a common sense no-brainer. Tyrone says best defense player this year. Don't at me check stats and how many clutch plays he had. Steeler Freak says this. Big John Stud, middle name Mud, all the way from Las Vegas, says, I don't see Roger staying as a backup mentor for Howard. That sounds like a OSU BS streaming. Newsmeyer sucks is what Cody is saying. Becker Robertson is Mark Malone, with what Mark Malone got going on. Danny saying, I agree. That's a hard pass. Finch, I'm going to grab Finch, and then I'm going to get into this. Some things that were said at the press conference, guys, that may or may not have changed your mind about this new head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, Mike McCarthy being hired over the weekend and putting the pen to the paper, if you will, yesterday with this press conference being introduced as the new head coach here in the Berg for our Steelers. Finchy says, I like Coach McCarthy showing emotion when he mentioned the city of Pittsburgh. I am now sold on Mike the man. I'm not convinced of Mike the coach. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is, because I felt different after I watched the press conference than I did before. And it might be because I'm from Pittsburgh. So I don't know, but let's talk about it a little bit, guys. Things that I did like. Let me take a look where we're going here first. Let me ask you guys, did anybody's opinion change or feelings change after the press conference? I think that might have happened for a lot of people. He's very likable. He is a hometown guy. He's very proud of his city. Everything comes back to Pittsburgh for him. Ty was saying on the board, definitely. Me too. I'm not big. I'm not good enough. I'm not big enough to say it. Absolutely. And sometimes you bring certain energy, and certain energy works for you differently than it works in other places or for other people. As he was very, very excited to be coming home to Pittsburgh, guys, and that has to make you feel good. If he was a guy that maybe has very bad records throughout his career, never got anything done, he has very mediocre in a sense that if you're comparing him with other coaches, but it shows me that what the Steelers culture really means. And I knew what Steelers culture really meant, but it got misconstrued over time. And Steelers culture didn't change with Mike Tomlin. Steelers culture didn't change with Bill Cowher. And Steeler culture certainly started during the Chuck Noll era. And it means a lot. It doesn't mean with the way that Mike Tomlin ran things. It doesn't mean the way that he handled people. It doesn't mean running up the sideline as Coach Cowher did and grab a face mask and projectile spit flying everywhere. Pittsburgh Steelers culture is doing what it is that Pittsburgh does. Continued success. We haven't always brought the greatest guys in, but at the end of the day, Pittsburgh has a feel. The Steelers have a feel. Mike Tomlin didn't change a culture. It's not his culture that people were disappointed about. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. And you felt what that meant when Mike McCarthy was talking about the Steelers yesterday. Let me get a little bit more into what Coach said yesterday, and we'll get back to that. A few things that I did like about Coach McCarthy. He didn't hesitate to get up and give you his thoughts on what he wanted to do. I like that. I like the transparency. Everything else was such a big secret in the past. I like the fact that he got up there and told us that he wants to do this and he wants to do that. And even the 3-4 defense, whether you like it or you don't, it's a stable in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization that has been for almost 60 years. But the fact that he got up there and he's talking X's and O's, he's talking about how he wants to use his receivers. He wants his receivers to learn all three receiver positions so they could benefit the team more. I liked that Coach McCarthy talked about the offensive philosophy. I like that he used the word the West Coast offense. I like the fact that he got up there and he told us exactly how he felt. And to me, that felt like home. Along with the conference, along with, again, a man being from Pittsburgh. And again, nothing against any of the guys that aren't at all. But I walked away feeling better. Was it an unwarranted feeling? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think all in all, this guy is going to be transparent, and he's talking about what else? Just everything. He's going on, and talking about calling the plays. He's going to call the play. Everything was always such a secret. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing anything in the past. I'm just saying that I do appreciate where this is going under this new coach. And it wasn't full of isms. It wasn't full of this. It wasn't that. He came in and he was straight. He cried. He smiled. He laughed. And he talked about when he wins that Super Bowl, the parade is going to start at 1137 Greenfield Avenue. And that gave me goosebumps. Because 1137 Greenfield Avenue could have been my address. And a lot of people that live around me and people that are from Pittsburgh. And at the end of the day, I walked away feeling better about the decision that we made. Does that mean we're going to go and do great things and win Super Bowl after? I don't know. Who knows? Nobody can tell the future. As a matter of fact, everybody told us we were going to finish in the last place last year. You see how that played out. So again, with the Steelers, things are always a little different. I don't know why. Maybe it's the football gods. Maybe it's Myron Cope looking over us up from up above. I don't know. But there's something special. There's always been something special about Pittsburgh Steelers football. And I feel that what I felt as a kid, I feel that what I felt as an adult, I feel that what I felt as a Super Bowl winner in 43 under Mike Tomlin. I'm not excluding anybody. I'm talking about how it feels to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And you know what? I've started to feel it a little bit again as a 47-year-old person yesterday while listening to that gentleman talk. So again, hopefully that's a sign of things to come and continuing to move in the right direction for our football team. Any comments, guys, about the way the press conference went yesterday? Do throw it up there. I'm interested to see what everybody has to say. Let me get a couple more comments in here on my side. You know, again, the X's and the O's. The fact that he came out, he was literally telling you ideas of, again, adding what he wants to do. And again, making sure every receiver knows how to play every receiver position. Those little things spoke volumes to me. It wasn't all raw, raw, raw. It wasn't all 1137 Greenfield Avenue. I want all my receivers to know how to play every position so they can play every position to be successful. Those kind of things, to me, speak Steelers culture. Again, not taking anything away from anybody else. Just what it meant to me and why I feel a little bit better today than I did yesterday prior to that press conference. Tyrone says, I'm glad we got, that's what I'm saying. And the dude is an offensive-minded person, and maybe that will help our offense, again, become more productive, which it needed to be. I mean, you've seen some of the games last year. Come on. Aaron Rodgers or not, it was bad. And I'm not knocking the last guy. I'm just saying, in the big picture, I'm ready to move forward, and I do respect the last guy and the guy before him and the guy before him, and they'll always be Pittsburgh Steelers coaches to me. But right now, where we be on January 28th, 30 years since the Super Bowl 30 to the day, it is a new day. It's a new beginning, guys. Let's embrace it, and let's hope that we can get wins the same way that we hoped that Coach T was able to get wins year to year, in the same way that we hoped that Coach Cowher could get wins year to year. And again, something that Chuck Noll started back in the 70s that wasn't even thought of back when the Steelers started to become one of the greatest dynasties in NFL history, and still are. So again, I feel better today. He did say all the right things. And again, he was very transparent. These are things that I did like. And again, I think these are things that speaks volumes and things that I think that are going to be good for us moving forward. And he went on and on with a bunch of different ideas and things. And you know, yes, I feel better today. Does that mean I love it? I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's see how things look 1 year from now. Maybe. I don't know yet. Just like everybody else, I'm kind of confused. I'm letting it sink in. I think that's the I don't know, my opinion, the best way to do it. That's all we can do, guys. Again, what can we do beyond this? I don't know. So, yes, I do feel a little bit better. Some other news here, guys, about the Steelers as we do move forward. I do want to say this. Joe Montana, of course, being from Ringgold High School, another great from right here in Western Pennsylvania. Joe Montana, he does endorse McCarthy, and I think a lot of Pittsburgh people are going to ultimately embrace him because, again, when it's your guy, that means something, and it means something a little extra to you. And he, again, from right there in Greenfield, I think it's going to mean, and even Joe Montana, he didn't have to come out and say that, but he is from here. He did make that comment. He endorses, and I think you're going to hear a lot more as time goes on, guys. Let's get behind him as we got behind everybody else every other season. I hope for the best, and let's see what the hell could happen. I think we land on our feet again. I don't know. Who knows what the hell happens in January? Hopefully, winning a game, obviously, is the next step in January. Getting that Lombardi back in our hands, obviously, is ultimately a goal. And sometimes you see these kind of careers play out for people when there's something special at hand. So, again, who knows? It's not an easy thing to do to win a Super Bowl, Mike. We'll see what the hell can happen from here on out. Go ahead.
And I like what he said about the offense. Yeah, he said, well, but it's not going to be a typical West Coast offense.
Right.
The college ran. He said you use it as a base, and then you add in everything else that is used in the modern day NFL for passing and for running. It's just the base would be a West Coast, but you're going to have those deep vertical routes. You're going to have power running when you need power running. You're going to use the run to set up the play action like what you do in the typical West Coast offense, he said, but you're going to have a lot of concepts that everyone else uses around the league. So when people hear West Coast offense, they're thinking an older offense, but it's going to be a very expanded offense, it sounds like.
One thing to me that I took from last season, we got to run. Kenneth Gainwell did fantastic, obviously. Jaylen Warren did fantastic. And when you ran into a little bit of a problem, we went away from the run. And Coach McCarthy made a good point yesterday, saying everything is based off of what you could do with the run game. And I think he's going to stick with that. And I think that we have the players. And granted, the KG does stick around Gainwell, is he did land on the 50 most cracked the top 50 free agent list. I do want to get into that here shortly. Kenneth Gainwell, we got 2 Steelers that are on the top 50 free agent list that just came out, guys. But again, you can't abandon those things that are very necessary. And again, running the ball is really necessary in the NFL, guys. If you can't run the ball, you can't do a lot of other things, Mike. And I think he's going to be committed to those kind of things. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing the last person. I'm just saying it came up many times. We got to run. And then when you run into a little bit of a problem, they went away from it. And maybe it was because you had Aaron Rodgers and you could have went away from it. But again, Mike, I think sticking with that philosophy, it's a cornerstone of how offenses can be successful. Sorry to cut you off, man, but you're making a great point.
No. I'm just interested to see how that offense is going to be built. What type of receiver he's going to look for.
You thinking draft?
I'm thinking the draft. I'm thinking, are they going to retain Calvin Austin, or what's the development of Roman Wilson going to look like if they decide to keep him and maybe not trade him or cut him? I want to see those decisions right there, and then see who they target in the draft for a wide receiver. I know I've read and heard people say like, oh, he did a good job finding guys later in the draft for wide receivers. Get a first round talent wide receiver if he's on the board. If one of the best receivers in the draft there, like like David Boston,
and being a receiver heavy draft,
Georgia right now.
This is a great opportunity because this is a lot of really good wide receivers out there.
I'm saying grab one in the first round. Because that way, if you bring in a veteran quarterback or you develop Will Howard, you're going to have develop a wide receiver along with whatever quarterback you bring in. And, that receiver should be leaps and bounds better. Whoever you have a quarterback, if you go Will Howard or maybe like a Malik Willis to pull off a trade there or sign there, I forget how that's going to have to work his contract. You have people that are growing together and building chemistry. Just invest in a first round wide receiver, please. For the love of fucking Christ, get one.
I agree. And you know what?
You're not going to find an AB every year in the 6th round.
Hey, you know what though? We're going to find out because when Tater's here sleeping in your studio, and we got the draft that week, and things are going to happen. You watch. This is going to be guys. Again, just relax for just a little while longer. We got the coach in place. Let's get our assistants. Let's get our coordinators hired. Let's get this draft. Let's get the free agency. Let's get players signed. Let's bring guys in. Let's get rid of dead weight. All these things still are to come. Way too early, guys. Way too early to be discouraged. The 0.2% or whatever it is. We don't know. You just don't know. And as crazy as the NFL is, the New England Patriots, they sure rebounded pretty quick from being a 4-13 team and heading back to the Super Bowl. Don't count your Steelers out yet, guys. I think things could be moving in the right direction. And again, this is the time, Mike, when a great change, I think, is warranted to come for the Steelers, because it's just where we're at right now. We got a new coach, and all these things are kind of working in our favor. They're lining up for us, Mike, as the draft is here in Pittsburgh, and we have a million picks. And again, free agency and trades, and guys are going to be leaving other places. Yep. There's a lot of things that happen between now and September, and there's certainly a lot of things that happen between now and next January when the big games count, guys. So just hang in there. Let's, again, as we even did with Aaron Rodgers, who I didn't love. Again, I don't think of him as a Steeler. He's a Band-Aid. You know what? I was okay with it down the end. And at the end of the day, he did get things accomplished for us. So again, let's just hang in there. Let's hang in there. Let's see how this thing plays out. It could be a lot worse, guys. Again, we could be hiring Todd Monken as our head coach after failing miserably with that Baltimore Ravens offense. Mike, come on, you have an MVP quarterback and Derrick Henry, and you start 1-5 for one. You finish under 500 for two. So again, things could be a lot worse, guys. Steelers, baby, it's all about, come on, culture is culture. However you may take it, Steelers culture is winning, doing things the way that the Steelers do, and that's what makes this team special. As Green Bay, they have a culture. As certain teams do have certain cultures, guys. Embrace it. Today is the day of Pittsburgh here for me on the show. Certainly, Mike, as I talked about, again, the anniversary 30 years ago today, the Steelers broke my heart with their first Super Bowl loss. Today, I did read that Heinz Ketchup is putting out a 120-ounce ketchup keg. Again, think of how big a 40-ounce bottle is for alcohol, times 3, full of ketchup. You can't beat that. And again, a new beginning as our new head coach. He does have his press conference yesterday. He puts the pen to the paper. We are here. We have a lot ahead of us, a lot of football. We are here for all of it, guys. Two Dum Yinzers will be here for all 365 days of it, as we are every year, coming into our 5th year this summer, Mike. And tomorrow we'll kick off the ninth season of the show. Kicking off season 9, as we have 100 shows left of the Big 1000. And guys, we have some special stuff planned for you this year. So stick around, guys. It's going to be a blast. Let me get back to some topics here. A few things that I do want to talk about, guys. I did bring this up briefly. There are two Steelers that did crack the top 50 free agent list. And I gave one away. Kenneth Gainwell was one. So if we want to retain him, he's going to be sought after. Again, he's in the top 50. Again, there's 32 teams. Put that into consideration. We got 2 guys in the top 50 free agents, so it's he might be tough to retain, but again, still a lot of stuff that could happen moving forward. We could bring in somebody we like even better. Who knows? The other person on that list, guys, there are 2 Steelers on the top 50 free agent list as we speak. The other guy, of course, is Isaac Seumalo, who is somebody that I think we eventually have to get away from, Mike. Maybe getting a left guard in a 3rd round, maybe something reasonable to maybe fill that position, or even, again, looking around the league, seeing what else is available as free agency does come. Mike, that left guard position, I think it's time to maybe get past Seumalo. What do you think?
I think so as well. Now you have,
and he's not young anymore.
He's not young. He's coming off another injury. I think might have been like the weak point of that line once Dylan Cook came in there. I think it is time for him to move on the way they did last year with I forget who the right guard was who got hurt, because they drafted McCormick to take his spot. Now I think it's time to move on from Seumalo. He did great coming in here from Philly. Good veteran leader with that group of young guys. Now it's time to go find someone to put into that spot. Whether you're taking a look at someone who's been here on the roster, maybe one of the Andersons is going to go into that spot. Now, free agent, someone in the draft. God, as long as I don't take a guard in the first round, I'll be happy. Unless that guard turns out to be Alan Faneca, I'll be okay with her and David DeCastro. I won't cry. But the 3rd round, you said, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Maybe even the 2nd round, if one of those guys that maybe should have gone in the 1st round still hanging out there, you go ahead and you snag them, and then you grab your corner in the 3rd round. I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. But left guard, I think Seumalo's best football is behind him. I think he's starting to get too beat up right now. I think his body's
peaking. In my opinion, he was peaking when Philadelphia was winning the Super Bowl, and he was still in his late 20s, and he was still considered a top name at that position. It's just time is kind of passing him. And Mike, it's maybe this new era is a time that we kind of pass on the guys that time is passing on
Yeah.
them as well. You know what I mean? Keep continuing to pay
Yeah.
guys big money that are past their prime into their 30s. I'm not saying everybody that's in their 30s past their prime, but we have a
No.
bad habit here of continuing to pay these guys mad money. Once you get to a certain age, again, Ciamalo's over 30 years old, 31, 32 years old. At some point, again, you're going to want, and again, people say, well, why? Well, other teams, they look around the league. The teams that are moving forward, there's always changes being made. You can't marry, you can't fall in love with every single player that you have. Again, they were serviceable. Ciamalo was fantastic. He did his job well, fantastic. And as Marcus saying on the board, the pecs, once he started tearing his pecs and having injuries, at that point you might want to start moving on from those older players.
Yeah, it's time to move on from these older guys. Even fan favorites, it might be time to move on from. But I don't think that's going to happen for some of these guys.
I'm going to jump in on a couple of these comments here that I do see. M. Sparks, I couldn't agree more. Ryan, solidarity. Unfortunately, if we don't do politics is going to do you with that conversation. I think it's more than politics, though. I think the people that are fighting in politics are being misled on purpose. I think it's a little bit bigger than the us versus you, them versus us, black versus white. I think it's bigger than that. But again, whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. I agree. Let's unite. It's all about solidarity and Steeler Nation, baby. Steeler Freaks says Tolman authored the prevent offense, low scoring with no activity toward the middle of because of fear. I do want to see. I listen. New name. I do want to say welcome to stuck on sucks. He says Kenny still has a ring. So whatever you do at the end of the day. And you like Kenny, you make fun of him, and I do like him. He's a Pitt guy. I'm gonna be behind him no matter what. He does have that ring, Mike, as a backup quarterback. So say what you want about Kenny. Steeler Freak says so does the Eagles jockstrap washers, and that is very true. The Eagles jockstrap washers do have a ring as well. You got to be fair.
They don't ask how, just how many.
That's true. At the end of the day, when you're showing your rings off as an older person. TC, my man says Rodgers did say he did. Can you imagine that whole season played with Mason Rudolph? I can't. And I listen. I know some people were optimistic about Mason. He wasn't going to give us the same results that Aaron did at the end of the year. Aaron's been there, done that. He knew what he was looking at. He's seen things that Mason probably never even dreamt of seeing at this point in his career. But you're not wrong, TC. I do agree with you 100%. A couple things else I do want to talk to, Mike. Talk about are some of the dead weight that I talk about, shaving some of the fat, if you will. Jonnu Smith is a name that that I've been against since week 2. Now, mind you, I liked Jonnu Smith when I heard the numbers that he had in Miami last year as a Pro Bowler. All these, just so many great numbers out of Miami. Mike, the guy had the elusiveness of me. That is not what I want as I'm watching my athletic tight end who's brought in to be the athletic tight end. Think about it. You had your white end. The guys I'm talking about. You had your big guy, of course, Mount Washington. I expected Jonnu to be a lot more elusive and more of a playmaker than he was. He had the same skills as the guys I call white end. Again, if you know the show, if you're familiar with the show, it's not a term of negativity. It's just a term that I use to describe the way certain people play. And that's what I've seen from Jonnu Smith this year. And again, he needs to go. He brought nothing. To the table. As a matter of fact, very disappointed in what Jonnu Smith brought. Mike, he did next to nothing in 17 games. Yeah. Yes, he had a jet sweep touchdown against the Jets in week 1. He had a first down catch in week 12 that kept the drive going. Besides for that, I think you're really stretching if you're trying to defend Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, he was a big bust right there. It was terrible. Like I said yesterday, man, zero explosiveness, man. He looked slow. It was bad. I was very disappointed.
Usually people show signs of things that they could do. He never showed any signs of actually being the guy that he was when he was in Miami. See what I'm saying? There was never a moment where you thought, oh, that, I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
That never
He couldn't
happened.
run away from zero separation, dude. Zero separation on routes, getting lost, trying to find the soft spot in the zone. And then when he'd find it, it would be the wrong soft spot in the zone. It was just like, well, dude, what are you doing? Were you trying to go out there and be the worst tight end on the team?
I don't know what the hell
comical.
that was. I don't know what the hell that was with John. You might as well bring him. Listen, you might as well brought back Max Spaeth and paid him a league minimum or whatever the hell you pay guys like this.
Right?
That was the production
You're
you got
like,
from John.
Meatwad plays
That's the
better.
point. Meatwad, and you know what? Meatwad, he has a little bit more value.
He's
than people
great.
give
Talk
in.
about someone growing on me. And Meatwad
Meatwad
grew on me a little this year.
Meatwad will grow on you like a fungus. Of course, Connor
Yes, he
Hayward.
will, man.
He looks like Meatwad from that cartoon show, whatever it is.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He'll grow on you like a fungus, that Meatwad. And he did. Again, I think that he was serviceable in many areas where I certainly cut him down. Not that you can cut him down much more. He's a very short little Meatwad looking guy. Anyway, beside the point, he became serviceable certainly on the tush push plays and others, Mike, coming up with some big first down conversions throughout the course of the season when we needed it. Connor Hayward, I'm not taking anything away from him, just being slightly facetious this afternoon. Let's talk about some of the big money guys. Some of the just let me jump in on the M Sparks most recent comment here real quick. He says Jonnu can play for the Maulers. Mind you that the Maulers did go to the championship game their last year again in existence. I don't know. Could Jonnu have made that team? I don't know. Mike, let's talk about some of these older guys in the league that you might want to start considering moving on from. Some of the older guys in our defense, some of the guys that are sucking up all this money. Mike, TJ Watt gets paid quarterback money. A quarterback that gets paid quarterback money touches the ball every play. Every game is decided on their actions, on their moves, on every snap, on every throw, on every run, every tackle, everything. TJ Watt, Mike, do we eventually move away from this? Are we going to say, you know what, that one sack of 20 or that one season of 21 and a half sacks, whatever it was, just might not be worth all this money we're paying out when you're not able to put other people in positions that you need, especially when a guy like this, not exactly a young guy either, Mike, he deals with injury issues. And now all that quarterback money is standing on the sideline 100% of the time when, again, that quarterback money on other teams that are successful in other cases goes to the guys that touch the ball every single play. Mike, TJ Watt, how much more don't drink that is saying TJ Watt didn't even touch the quarterback every game. That's what I'm saying. How many times when it came down to it, crunch time, he put up goose eggs? Mike, how much longer does the Pittsburgh Steelers, as we move forward, the year of change, we'll coin it here on the show, how much longer do you put up with a TJ Watt? It's just too much money, Mike, for he does punch the ball away sometime in a good opportunistic time in a game to help you win. I acknowledge that. But is taking that chance week to week, saying, I hope that he could punch a ball away in a game that is close, is that worth quarterback money to you? Is that worth all that money that you could be using elsewhere to make your team better? How much longer do you put up with TJ Watt, Mike? That's too much money, in my opinion. I like the guy. He seems like a fantastic guy. And he's a good outside linebacker. How much longer did the Steelers put up with it, though?
Unfortunately, I think he's going to be here for the end of his contract. And I think that's going to cause Nick Herbig to not resign here when he becomes a free agent. That contract, I don't have it in front of me, but the dead cap space, trying to move that and getting return value for him, it's going to be next to impossible to get what you think you can get for him. You're not getting a first or second for him. You maybe a third rounder.
I wouldn't expect I certainly wouldn't expect. I mean, people, Mike, the writing's on the wall. People can see what's going on.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
making mad money. He's past his prime. He's injured a lot, and he may lay goose eggs down the stretch when you need him the most. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall. People are not going to give up the farm to bring TJ Watt to their team unless they're a very dumb, underachieving team that generally makes bad decisions. It could possibly happen. I don't see it.
Arizona looking at you, baby. Arizona looking at you. Maybe the dry. Maybe the dry heat will give Arizona some or give TJ Watt a rejuvenation for his career. Like Mike, no team's going to take him. That contract's too prohibitive. The dead cap space is going to kill the Steelers. No, we're stuck with them, and the long term consequences are like someone like Nick Herbig. You might lose him in the long term because he wants to play. He wants to start. He wants to play more. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because you're not getting the bang for the buck for him.
You're not.
No, if he was doing what Myles Garrett did last year, or what he did, TJ Watt did 3 years ago, that's a different story. Like your contract is based on your current performance, and he's not living up to it.
Mike, and I think you said, and as much as I hate to put this in our guys' faces, but when I watch the Browns play, Myles Garrett is kicking ass. Play after play, they're moving him inside, they're moving him outside, they're putting him in different schemes, they're moving him, and the thing is, you never know where he's coming from. He's always moving, and the guy moves 100 miles an hour. Now, say what you want and compare him, compare these two guys, which again a lot of people have done over the past 5 years. I think that Myles Garrett would be a head and shoulder by the production of late. Now, don't people are ready to hang me. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, you're just saying Myles Garrett's better than no, listen. From what you're seeing from these two players over the last 5 years, since TJ Watt got that record, Myles Garrett has played a lot better than TJ Watt. And Mike, I think the greatest ability that he has that TJ Watt doesn't have, what is that ability?
Availability.
Why do you want to pay top? How can you continue to pay top dollar to a guy that is injured so much and is on the sideline? Come on. In my opinion, guys, things have to move in the right direction for this team. If we want to continue, we got to stop running in place. We have to stop running in quicksand. Things got to start happening. Again, you'd hate to lose a guy like him, but maybe there's somebody that's going to come along and be even more productive than him because they're younger, they're more motivated, they want to make a name for themselves. They want to be the guy. Again, I can't justify giving quarterback one money to TJ Watt. I'm not saying I don't like him. And I'm not saying he didn't do his job. I'm just saying I can't justify that. Teams are getting that money to guys that are getting it done. And you kind of have to wait on TJ to get some of these done because, Mike, you have to be in the right position for him to get some of those things done to make a big play at the end of the game. You have to be down by less than a touchdown. So, again, in my opinion, I would rather give it to a guy that's going to make plays more often than that. And I think we're wasting a lot of money that could be spent elsewhere to improve the team. And, again, I'm not bad-mouthing. I know people are going to hate me. They're going to turn off. They're going to swear at me after saying what I say about TJ. But, again, at the end of the day, I think it's logical, Mike. It just doesn't make sense to pay him this money anymore. It doesn't make this. It makes no sense to me.
No, he does not have that explosiveness off the edge anymore like he used to when he would just fly around the edges, fly between two guys. You see it occasionally. It flashes, but it's not there consistently. And he does not have the strength or the power to counteract that. He's always been a speed guy, and the speed's gone. And when that's your only play, you become so much easier to defend. You see teams, they still, chip him and all that, but sometimes they'll notice throughout the game, go back once that playoff game, they stop chipping him after a while. It's just one-on-one. He's on an island and he ain't doing diddly poo over there.
Mike, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
That's not a good sign.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. You're talking about going back to the playoff game. Go back to last year on a stretch that we needed to win one game at some point. Mike, we lost every single game down the stretch not this past season, the season before, and we needed him. We paid him top money because we need him in these situations. Like we lost the last 4 games of the year last year, whatever it was. It wasn't good. We went into the playoffs and lost that game to Baltimore. He put up goose eggs ample times in that run. That to me is not where you should be allocating all of your quarterback money. And if you're not going to use it for a quarterback, by all means, use it somewhere that is going to be affecting you positively. It just isn't where it is. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I just don't think that he deserves the money. Right here, I just seen somebody had a good comment. M. Sparks says this. M. Sparks says, damn right, Ryan. Watt got to take the hometown discount or go Greyhound. Again, I understand contracts are played here, and I understand that things aren't going to happen because of contracts. I'm just telling you my thought, guys. Unless he comes out next year and plays out of his mind, I think TJ might have be past where we should value him for certainly what we're paying him. And whenever this contract is up, I don't have it in front of me, Mike. I come on.
I don't either. I think it's like a 3-year deal. I think.
I don't know.
Give me a few minutes. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look up.
Also, guys, Omar Khan. That's how I seen a name just pop up at the bottom. Omar Khan for life is what Tortilla is saying. And you know what? That comes back to another thing as well. Yesterday, you learned, and I didn't know this, they worked together, Mike McCarthy and Omar Khan worked together 25 years ago. So sometimes you get together with the old gang, make things happen. Let's give it a shot. Give the guy a chance. Again, I think the press conference certainly changed a lot of people's tune yesterday. I'm aboard. He's our coach. Let's do what we got to do. Let's get this figured out. Still, a lot of things have to happen before we even get a chance to play in September, guys. A lot of dates coming. We have combines. We have free agency. We have uh everything still has to come. Trades, dude, it's all coming. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we are here for it, guys. Two Dumb Yinzers again today, wrapping up season 8 as it is episode 899 today. To manana we'll be into season 9, just 100 short shows away from the big 1000 here. We're going to be here for it as we are every year, guys, going into our fifth year anniversary coming up this summer. We're here for it. It's going to be a blast. We're going to be ready every step of the way, and we're going to be ready when that ball does kick off in September, and again when it kicks off in January. I think we're going to be there as well, guys. So a lot of different things to look forward to get into heading forward. Let me get into this right here. Some information about coaches concerning the Steelers. Of course, the news this morning was Todd Monken, the former offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, did get signed by the Cleveland Browns as their new head coach. But let's talk about the things that are important. Let's talk about our Steelers, guys. Pittsburgh offensive coordinator candidate Lunda Wells, of course, who is the Dallas Cowboys tight end coach. We talked about him a little bit yesterday. He did interview with Pittsburgh, and he did interview with the Washington Commanders. Mr. Lunda Wells, he will interview with the Jets as well, Mike. That's today. He's interviewing for their offensive coach job. So this is somebody that's certainly in the running. This is certainly somebody that Coach McCarthy worked with, knows. Again, Lunda Wells, of course, is the Dallas Cowboys tight end coach, interviewing with us, Washington, and then again today the Jets, Mike. That's going on. Also, the Steelers will interview former Pittsburgh Steeler Jason Simmons, for the defensive coordinator position. He's currently the defensive pass game coordinator for Washington. That's going to be something to keep in mind as well. He coached with Mike McCarthy in Green Bay for 8 seasons, played 4 years with the Steelers, if you can remember back to 98 to 2001. Jason Simmons is also another name being considered, Mike, for one of the Pittsburgh Steelers coordinator positions. As I said, he right now is the current pass game coordinator for the Washington Commanders. That is some of the scoop, Mike, of some people that we're talking to, possibly people coming in under Mike McCarthy to work as coordinators, assistants, whatever the case may be. Mike, there's a couple there. Any that you're hearing about or that you'd like to talk about now, Mike?
Yeah, those are the two that I have seen as well. Looking at like the numbers for Washington's pass defense in the past 2 years was not pretty.
And again, there's a reason some of these guys are fired. League. And I must say, there's a reason some of these guys are fired, is all I got to say. When you're looking around and you're saying, oh, what about him? Well, he did get fired from being this team's defensive coordinator, and that team's defense was terrible. So those are things you got to consider as well. It's not all shiny. You got to look into them all and see what's going on.
But I don't know the state of their secondary. How in depth with game planning and everything that he was in and what can he control. But just looking at the sheer numbers of it, it's not pretty. And I don't know a whole much about the offensive coordinator or candidate yet as well. So I do have information on TJ Watt's contract.
Okay.
So it goes into effect this year. It's the start this year. If they cut him this year, it's $94 million in dead cap space. That ain't happening. And 2027, they would cut him. So that'd be next year, because that's a $52 million. You can spread that out over 2 years. Realistically, he's going to play 2026, 2027 here, and then 28 you can get free and clear out of his contract. He would save $32 million. So yeah, we got TJ Watt for the next 2 years, baby.
And again, if he could come out and play the football that you're paying
if he comes out and plays,
I would be fine with it. The fact of the matter is he don't play the football that you're paying him to play. And the fact of the matter is he's not always available because of the injuries. The fact of the matter, those are the problems. These are the things we have to kind of get by, to kind of get back on the tread here as everybody else is continuing to move forward in the league. We're still setting up contracts from players that are past their prime. That's a bad team trait. We have to get by that. We have to stop doing these things. Guys, I know you love the name. I know a lot of times you go to see the name on the back of the jersey. I get that. Believe me. The Penguins are certainly popular on that. The Pirates have their guys as well. I think it's a human trait, and you like to see guys that you like to see. But at the end of the day, you're getting the best bang for your buck. I don't know if we're ever going to get the production out of TJ that we got from him when he was leading the way, when he got that record. Again, at his age, the injuries, the guy got a dry needle injury in his lung, and he was out in the most important time of the year through some of the bigger games late in the season. Again, in my opinion, that's the equivalent of punching a guy in the head and being out during the 2 games that your team needs you most. You got to start handling the team right, guys. Get back to do the things that are going to get you wins, that yield you wins. To me, these seem like bad team decisions, things that happen to teams that just aren't any good. Maybe this is why. Just again, overall, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying let's get back to what it takes to get in the winning ways in the NFL. As we've been, again, we've been what's the word? It's been stale, and I'm not bad mouthing. I'm just saying. Let's get by that. Let's get back and stop making dumb decisions. Quit giving crazy money to people. Again, that's a ridiculous contract, in my opinion, Mike. And again, as you said, the contract doesn't even start till next year.
Yeah, and you better hope that Will Howard's your guy, or you find someone in the draft who can be your guy that can play the way that some of these young quarterbacks have been playing. Because, okay, now I'm not paying money to a quarterback. I can spend it on this guy. Well, okay, we're spending it on this guy. He better be playing like the guy who earned that money. He earned that money on past performance. No, but a few years past, not like the previous year's performance, because he got a new contract based on what he did the year before he got this extension. They would have laughed about the building and go, hey, hit free agency, bye, sayonara, nice knowing you, good luck. Well, thank you for the third round comp pick. Now he's performing like a guy who sucks. He's got... Yeah, you can say he's 1 of 11 out on defense, blah, blah, blah. You're the highest paid player on the team. I'm sorry. This is Pittsburgh, where we used to hold our stars to the highest of high caliber, highest of high standards. Or now recently it's the star players are held to the lowest standards, and your mid-round guys and your late-round guys apparently have to be otherworldly or they suck. No, let's get back to you're a star player for the Steelers. Guess what? You're held to the highest fucking standard. And TJ Watt, you're the highest paid player on the team. You better fucking play like it, or damn near close to it, or elevate those around you. You're not even doing that.
I'm going to make a couple more points. We're going to get some messages on the board as we round third. Guys, I do want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning into the very last show of episode 8, as we will be wishing a farewell as we go off the air today, coming back tomorrow in season 9, just 100 episodes away from the big 1,000, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here for it. You guys are why we are here, and we made it this far. Thank you. Let me a couple more points I do want to make. And this is for you. This is for everybody that's on the board. This is for everybody that's at home. And I do want to say, I found out by a reliable source that there are maybe a Steeler or two that does watch our show regularly. I just want to put that out there. A former Steeler, current Steeler, I do know of fact that there are at least 2 that do watch semi-regularly, guys. So let's show them what we got. Let's tell them what Pittsburgh Steelers fandom is all about. Let's tell them what Steeler Nation is all about, guys. These are a couple problems that I have with things that are being said about you, the Pittsburgh Steeler fan, Steeler Nation. These are some problems I want to address right now. They call you a spoiled fan base. They call you a spoiled fan base. I think that that's the stupidest thing you could say. I think that they also, you know what else they call you? They say you're one of the most embarrassing fan bases, and I think that's 100% wrong. They say that you can never be made happy. I say that's wrong. We're a football team. We're a fan base that wants the highest level from your team. That's not spoiled. That's loving your team. I'm seeing people saying that Steeler fans are an embarrassment. And I disagree with it 100%. You are as knowledgeable fan base as there is in pro sports. Well, you don't like the decisions they make. That don't matter. The fact that you have an opinion, the fact that you took the time to consider your opinion, the fact that you had the time to mull over your opinion speaks volumes about how great a fan base that we have in Pittsburgh. They say that we're the worst fans, but we are invested in our team. Go to a Steeler game. Find me one fan that doesn't have a Steeler jersey. And I got to be honest with you, Steeler jerseys ain't cheap. These are bad fans to you. Get out of here. They don't know what they're talking about. That's BS. These people are haters, and they're even here in Pittsburgh. And there's even some that have higher profile names and jobs. And I think they're out of their effing minds. I'm proud to be part of Steeler Nation. I've always been proud to be part of Steeler Nation. And guess what? Until we win our next Super Bowl and the next one and the next one, it's not going to change. We love our team. We support our team. Sometimes we might see dumb because you know what? Sometimes love makes you dumb, right? In a relationship, you don't always end up looking like the smart guy. But at the end of the day, you know what? To have different opinions and to want championships and to want to win, that makes you spoiled, according to some people. That makes it seem like you're some of the worst fans in the league, is something that I've seen somebody right here in Pittsburgh say. And they have a pretty damn good job. I'll just leave it at that. Some of the worst fans in the league is what they call you, and me, and Mike, and everybody that loves the black and the gold. I don't agree with that at all. I think those people are part of the problem. Again, whether you have an opinion, whether you like what's going on, whether you don't like what's going on, whether it doesn't matter. You are knowledgeable, you're putting the effort in, and you're giving your opinion. Just because we're all not so jumping around and say, yay, we got a brand new head coach. Let's all. No, you have an opinion. You can express that. You're happy, good. You're not happy, listen to it. I'm just getting tired of these people. And these are the same people that bail out on this team whenever things don't go well. And again, guys, my beef today for this show is those people who tell you and me and us and Steeler Nation that we're some of the worst fans in the league. We're some of the most toxic fans in the league. No, your team, your fans that love your team, like many fans before us and many fans after us. I will never look at that as a negative thing. I value everybody that comes here for this show, and not only because it's the show, but because it's about our Steelers. In your opinion, no matter what it is, I think deserves to be heard, and that's why this show is the true show of the Pittsburgh Steelers fan here in Pittsburgh, because we will listen, we'll put out, and we'll talk about every single concern you may have. Other people might say that makes you a bad fan. Other people might say that makes you toxic. I say bullshit. You are the best, Steeler Nation. Don't change. Keep rooting for black and the gold, baby. We're going to all be celebrating that Lombardi together. And you know what? They're going to want to celebrate too at that point. And you know what? We're good people. We'll probably let them, but at this point, F that shit. I'm through with it. It's passion. You're passionate people. That's not a bad thing, guys. I think that they're absolutely out of their minds. With that being said, Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got all of our social media links, the merch store, the dumb thoughts over at the2dumyinzers.com.
We do this 365 days a year. And you know what? Everybody on this board's right here with us, doing it 365 days a year. That tells me that you love your fan, you love your team, you're a good fan, and at the end of the day, these people are morons. I can't stand there even read that shit anymore. It's insane to me. Insane. Guys, go check out our website, www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things over there. As Mike said, he does a lot of work on the website. He does his dumb thoughts. There are connects for all of our contact information. There's links to every show, every 899 of the shows done by the Two Dum Yinzers, and even that sharp fist logo that you do see. A lot of cool things over in the merch store on that of that fist logo. Go check it out, guys. www.d2dumyinzers.com. www.d2dumyinzers.com. Let's see. I'm going to grab a couple more messages. Again, I don't like to miss any, and I don't miss any. I ultimately catch them all later in the day. So I do apologize if I didn't get to your comment on the air. And I know you guys always say I don't have to, but it's a me thing. It's definitely a me thing. I might be insane, but it's a me thing, guys. Let's get into some more of these comments as we do we start to round third. And even Tater Tot, this nugget, he's even he even understands more than some of these morons. Even Tater Tot. And he's from the United Kingdom. Come on. Come on, guys. Let me grab a couple more here as we be here. I'm going to go to Ralph. I do want to say Ralph. I do recognize Ralph's name from the show in the past. He says, yeah, but yet again, we forget about Pat. Friarmuth, I think is where he's going. I'm looking. Looks like there was that tight end conversation with Jono, of course. I do want to say also welcome to my man, Don't Drink That. That is Corey Beavers. Do check Corey out right here on YouTube if you like conspiracy theories. Corey Beavers, Don't Drink That 25. He has a pretty cool conspiracy theory show. He puts up a lot of content, guys. If you like these different stories on time travel, things that the government might be up to, just all those cool kind of stories, go check out Corey. Don't Drink That right here on YouTube. He says TJ didn't even touch the quarterback. Exactly. So, I mean, come on. I think it's a no-brainer, guys. Again, he falls in that category for me. We love him. We got his jersey. He's he's a good-looking guy. He has a square jaw. Whatever the reason may be is why people don't want that. But at the end of the day, the thing that matters is the money, the production, getting the wins, and also, again, do you continue to pay this guy this much money? I don't think so. So we're going to have to wait this contract out, see what happens. Tortilla says we should bring Thornhill back. I love Thornhill. I love Deshaun Elliott. Everything that we did at the safety position over the last season I thought was wonderful. I thought all those safeties really picked up. Even Duggar, all the way up until that touchdown pass that he let up in Cleveland in the loss to the Browns. Mike, I thought that even Duggar, all the safeties, I had no complaints really. In moving Jalen Ramsey from corner to safety, I thought went well. Mike, the safety position.
I'm okay with bringing Duggar back. You limit his role. And then, therefore he's not exposed more like he did get towards the end of the season. I think he got banged up too. I'm okay, running Elliott coming back healthy, keeping Jalen back there, Duggar back there as a backup, maybe bringing another free agent and then someone in the draft. I know a lot of people are high on Castro, but I'm sorry, I don't put a lot of faith in undrafted rookie free agents. Yes, we hit with Fast Willie Parker and James Harrison, but those are few and far between. Give me someone who has some draft pedigree.
Cody says that.
Or a pretty good free agent signing as well,
Cody says this. I don't understand why Omar isn't on the hot seat. He was no help at all. You know what? I think eventually he could be. Again, I mean, he's only a couple years in, Omar Khan is. And I thought his aggressiveness in the offseason is what's keeping him liked, is keeping him on the just on that side of the fence right now. I think that he's not afraid to go out and pull the trigger. He's not afraid to go out and make moves. I think that, again, he makes a lot happen. Let's see if that translates over into the regular season and wins moving forward. Because, again, this is very non-typical of how the Pittsburgh Steelers run historically. Again, Omar Khan's aggressiveness in the offseason is something that I do like. I've liked it for the couple years he's been doing it. So let's give Omar a shot. Again, he's worked with Mike McCarthy for 25 years ago. He spoke about with also Andy Weedle and Jim Haslett, of course, another Pittsburgh Steeler coach from back in the day. So again, I'm not even close, to be honest, to get rid of Omar just yet. I'm not saying it's not down the road, but I'm kind of satisfied with the activity, the aggressiveness, the way he's not afraid to go out and grab a player in the offseason. Have some worked out? Yes. Have some turned into shit? Yes. But at the end of the day, he continues to keep the wheels moving. I like continuously moving wheels. I just think, again, we sat stagnant for a little too long. It's time to keep these wheels moving any way you slice it. We need to move forward and with the team. Again, this goes back to no coach, no player, no whatever. This team just kind of needs to move forward in the way of the league to kind of get back on track. I think maybe a lot of people might agree with that. Also, Tortilla. I'm sorry. Let's go to Don't Drink That. Corey says this: trade TJ to the Raiders for the number 1 pick. They're dumb enough to do it. Also, Henry Ruggs is up for parole in August. He could be wide receiver 2 on the cheap. He's been training in the prison for her NFL return. Tortilla says Don't Drink That is drinking again in response to Corey's message. I do want to say, Jeremy, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Jeremy Olsen on the terrible board. And everybody, again, if I didn't spot you, I didn't catch your message, I do apologize. You know how I am about these things, but I will read them all eventually, guys. Jeremy is saying more cap space. I don't disagree. Mark Malone, like it or not, we're stuck with the Watt contract for the next year at the minimum, maybe next 2. Let me go up a little bit more. I want to catch names if I didn't catch so far. Richard, dude, what's going on, my man? Richard on the terrible board. Great seeing you as always. He says, we're a demanding fan base. We want you. Is there anything wrong with that? No. That's called love for your team. I'm seeing a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler fans that jump shot. I'm done with these guys. I'm done with them. Well, guess what? When they win, you're back. So who's really who should we really be talking about? Jeremy says this. I have Will Howard, a number 18 jersey, was $200. Nice, man. I'd wear it. Tortilla says in shrimp fried rice. Scoot up a little bit here. Vegas, always great seeing my man Vegas. Vegas on the terrible board says I got 2 words for him. Maybe suck it. I didn't get up to see if there was more to this, but I'm guessing that's gonna go suck it, maybe. Aaron, what's up? Always one of my favorite messages on the board. Aaron Jade with his Rockets. Great to see him, my man. He says, here we go, Steelers. TJ for Dak Prescott. Jamal, that's interesting because you know what? I don't think I dislike Dak as much as I thought that I did. Is he as good as they made him out to be? I don't think that he's that either. But again, it's kind of a pipe dream. But at this point in my life, I don't exactly hate Dak Prescott. I mean, he's a Cowboy. He has that going for him. But Mike, we've certainly seen harder times than Dak Prescott under center.
Yes, we have.
So that's
Jerry Jones is stupid enough. He might do it.
I know. He's crazy too. He might. Don't drink that. Cincy fans are the worst fan base. Look at the way they treat visitors. And that's what I'm saying. Come on. We fill every stadium we go to. We play Arizona, we fill it. We play Los Angeles, the biggest, third biggest city in the country. We fill it. Come on. You're not a spoiled fan base. You are the most awesome fan base, guys. Certainly in the NFL, maybe in all of pro sports. Hold your head high. Other people are going to tell you to do different. TC says problem is have with them is why they don't turn their head. Don't they turn their head around? I don't get it. You're talking about the safeties, maybe? That's a coaching thing. Maybe that changes. Maybe the new defensive coordinator or the DB's coach gets in there and fixes these problems. Because, again, just like any other team, we have problems. And I'm not going to sit here for the next 5-10 years, even the next year, and complain and blame things on the former coaching stuff. Whatever. It is what it is. We're moving forward. It's a new year, and we're going to win football games, guys. Mark Malone says Elliott will be back as the box guy, and I love that. I love Elliott back there. He's a clubber. I love these clubbers. Vegas says we don't even have to travel all that much. We were already there. I couldn't agree with you more. It's always been that way, certainly in my lifetime, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. Be proud to be Pittsburgh Steelers fans, baby. And you know what? No matter what anybody says, you got the rest of Steeler Nation that got your back. So F that, guys. We do what we do. When we do what we do. And when we do what we do, it's for the black and gold, baby. So we're going to continue to do that. Dexter Davis, let me jump in on this. Before we do start getting the wrap things up here on the show, we have question of the day. And, of course, this is Pittsburgh theme day, as Mike McCarthy made us all feel like Pittsburghers yesterday, whether you lived in Texas, whether you live in Wisconsin, whether you lived in North Carolina, whether you live in Las Vegas, whether you live in Sacramento, whether you live in Japan. Mike McCarthy made us all feel a little bit more like a Pittsburgher yesterday. I do think that, guys. I truly do. And I forgot where I was even going. Okay, Dexter. Dexter says we need two Deontay Johnson type wide receivers, somebody that runs good routes, that can separate. We definitely need people that can separate. We obviously that was a problem of certainly with Calvin Austin the third, had a hard time, and I think it's his size. It's hard for smaller guys sometimes, especially when you're up against rangy DBs. It's hard to create separation. It's a tough league. These guys are the best at what they do. So, TC says yes to safeties. And that's what it was. I was going off of that. We're pretty much everywhere. That's where I was going with that. From the Vegas comment. We are. Germany, even somebody said the other day. They were in Germany. Even in Baltimore. And I was in that salty dog over there in Maryland. Right in enemy territory. Pittsburgh Steeler bars. Come on. I've yet to see a Baltimore Raven bar in my town. We're Cleveland. We're Cincy. We're Dallas. We're anybody. You guys are the cream of the crop. You guys are truly the cream of the crop. You remember that. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Guys, Steeler Freak says the Cuban Clubber is playing DB. I think he's talking about Sebastian Castro. I always liked him. I knew he moved back and forth from Tampa Bay last season. I think he's back again, but Sebastian Castro, I think, is who John is talking about. Steeler Freak, of course, on the terrible board. Let's get into the trivia question of the day. It's about that time, guys. This is, again, the Pittsburgh theme day here because, again, Mike McCarthy made us all feel like Pittsburghers yesterday. And I say we celebrate that as Steeler fans, as Steeler Nation. And I think we all have a little bit of Pittsburgh deep down inside, guys. Let's get into the trivia question of the day. And this is a Pittsburgh question, not necessarily football per se, but you're going to get what I'm talking about. Don't look it up. See if you know. Throw your thoughts on the board, guys. Here's the question of the day. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, put on your thinking caps as well. Everybody on the board. Question of the day. Here we go. What did the three? This seems simple, but let's see. What do the three diamonds on the Steelers logo represent? You may not know. Listen, nobody's going to give you shit if you don't. Throw your guesses up there. You might not. And to be fair, a lot of people don't know. Being from right here in Pittsburgh, I can honestly say that. So again, guys, question of the day. Tell me on the board, what do the three diamonds on our Steelers logo represent? If you know one, throw one. If you know two, throw two. If you know three, throw three. If you think you know them, throw them. If you don't, throw up a guess anyway. Nobody's judging here, baby. Throw it up there again. Question of the day. What do the three diamonds on the Steelers logo represent? Throw it up there. That is the question of the day. I do want to say a couple things while we do wait. Finchy on right off the cut says this: the diamonds were the U.S. Steel logo back in the day. That's true. Can you indicate? I'm sorry, what each one of those stars were is kind of more what I'm asking, but you're not wrong, Finch. Let me say these couple things while we're waiting. Throw your thoughts up there. Throw your guesses up there. Even if you think that they might even be wrong, throw it up there. It's all right, guys. I do want to say this. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
And again, that goes all year. And again, season 9 tomorrow starts with the two Dum Yinzers, guys. Also, a couple things I also want to say before we get this answer out. If you're getting ready for any of this football coming up, we have a Super Bowl coming up. We have Pro Bowl games. We have the Senior Bowl coming up on Saturday. So many different things, guys, coming up. Whatever you do, stop by and get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner, huh? It's Duquesne Pilsner. The guys over there, they go out of their way to help promote us and everything that they do and include our names. So we're just asking, maybe show them a little bit of love back. If it just, if maybe you don't drink, maybe just swinging by their social media, hitting a like button, hitting a follow button, show them some love. It goes a long way. Duquesne Pilsner, it's great stuff. We always have it on tap here at the studio for every football game. It is true. It's 100% true. And it's made right here in Pittsburgh, guys. Great beer. Duquesne Pilsner, it says right on the can. Grab a Duke. Excuse me. There's that snow shoveling finally getting back at me as my bones and muscles also dealing with that as well. But you know what? We're Steeler fans, baby. We're gonna get through it. Let me grab a couple of these messages here because I think I have some different answers possibly. Again, throw up what you think the question of the question of the day is. Throw up your answer. The question is, what do the three diamonds on the logo of the Steelers represent? Finch gave us the answer in a nutshell, but I'm looking for more as an individual to each diamond. Throw your answer up there. Vegas, let me grab this comment. He says, we have several bars that support the Steelers here, and that's out in Vegas. One guy put a Steelers club card on my windshield because my plates are Blitzburgh. That's awesome, brother. Awesome. We love you out in Vegas. That's my man, Vegas. Finchy says the diamonds were the U.S. Steel logo. That is true, 100%. Let's see if anybody knows what they mean. Vegas, Finchy says at Vegas, I'm going to Vegas. How many times could you make me say Vegas, right? And April, and would love to visit a Steelers bar. Can you give me some names? Steelmark is what TC is saying. TC is saying Steelmark. On the guesses, Somber says diamonds because we like to shine. Also, TC says coal, steel, and ore. Coal, steel, and ore. He's throwing up there as his answer, guys. Mike is correct. Steeler Freak is saying Vegas. He says, I'll get a list for you. To Finchy, guys, throw up again. Even if it's a guess, throw it up there. It's all about Pittsburgh today. We're all Pittsburghers today, guys, as we're all Steeler fans. Question of the day: what do the three diamonds on the logo represent? Richard coming in pretty detailed. Let me see what he says. He says the yellow represents coal, orange represents iron ore, and blue represents steel scrap. Steel scrap is what Richard says on the terrible board. I'll give you another moment, guys, and we will get the answer out there. Again, one more time. What do the three diamonds represent on the Steelers logo? One of the most unique logos on the most unique helmets on the most unique franchises in the league, guys. Love the black and gold, baby. Steeler Freak says this. Finchy, Noreen's, and I don't know. The thing about Steeler Freak, Finch, who knows where he's going to send you? He says Noreen's Lounge. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds like a Steeler bar or what that sounds like to me. But you got to watch John out in Vegas. But you know what? He is out there. I'm sure he does have the places to go. Guys, here it is. This is the question of the day and the answer. The question is, what do the 3 diamonds on the Steeler logo represent? What do they represent? TC says red, yellow, and blue supposed to represent different types. Here is the answer, guys. As there was one absolutely clear-cut correct answer on the terrible board, and the answer is this. Richard did answer this. He says the yellow is coal, the orange, the red is iron ore, and the blue stands for steel scrap. That is correct, guys. That is 100% the correct answer down to the detail. They are coal, iron ore, and steel scrap is the correct answer, guys.
Well
Great
done.
job. Well done. Nailed it, man. Hook, line, and sinker. TC, let's go up here to Steeler Freak. I've never been there. I'm told has been the go-to Steeler bar in Vegas. I'm sure Finchy will enjoy that when he makes his way out to the west. Finchy goes west. What else do we got here, guys? As we start to wrap things up for today, I do want to say these things as well. I want to say, if you haven't had a chance, go check us out. We're all over the internet. You want to learn more about the 2 Dum Yinzers? You want to support the show? Guys, we are all over social media. Check us out on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Guys, just swing by. Hit any of the follow buttons. Keep up with what's going on with the 2 Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. And also, if you haven't had a chance yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the sub, the share, the comments, and even I think there's a thing down there to hype the show. I think that even also helps in ways. I don't know. We're still learning about that as well on our end. But go ahead, hit stuff down below. It all helps in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. We gratefully are thankful, guys. If you do that. What do we got here, Mike? Cody says, I wonder why Omar didn't get a wide receiver 2 last year. That's got to change. You're absolutely right. Now, maybe that's where you were coming from when you were saying fire Omar. Maybe. And you know what? I don't know if I 100% disagree with that. Why don't you have a number 2 wide receiver in 2 whole years is mind-blowing to me. But again, we're moving forward. We're moving forward with these Steelers, guys, to getting that 7th Lombardi trophy. New England, they're trying to jock position to get it before us. I don't think that happens. Let's stay competitive. Let's stay in this thing. Let's continue to keep working, get that number 7 before New England does. Tortilla, wide receiver 3 plus wide receiver 3 equals wide receiver 2. That is very
the math checks out.
That's a brilliant. You're right. That's kind of how it played out, isn't it? Also, don't drink that. Corey says, did you guys see the video I sent you about the Super Bowl? Maybe. There's a lot of things that are constantly coming in. I will double check, make sure I did get that, Corey. I do want to say thank you. Also, Finch says, I hope to meet the Las Vegas Yinzers. I'll be there in April. So Finch will be ready to hook up. Let me take a look, see where we be. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap things up for today?
No, man, this is another good show, man. You guys were just bringing the comments today. It was fun, man. I had a blast. I can't wait to see the staff we put together. I'm withholding, final judgment until I see the staff put together. What kind of team we're gonna have, the kind of philosophy they're gonna have. It's
whatever your thoughts are. I think that's the fair assessment. That's the fair way to go about it. What can you do? What can you do? We can bitch, we can moan. All we can do is wait to see what happens, see who we hire, see how the free agency goes. Mike, there's so much stuff that's going to happen between now and September. And again, we were here for it all here in the 2 Dum Yinzers show. Finish that thought, Mike, and we were going to wrap things up.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you, brother. I just can't wait for the draft, free agency. I just want to see, especially that offense being rebuilt. Once it's done there, a lot of groundwork has been laid into the team from Omar Khan and Andy Wheel the past couple of years. Now it's time to make a big leap offensively. You got 3/5 of your offensive line in one draft. Let's go get the other piece and get some weapons.
All right, guys. So again, this wraps up Season 8 of the 2 Dum Yinzers. I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood of the 2 Dum Yinzers. I always say it, and I always mean it. Thank you. And everybody else at home, whether you're in the car, whether you're at the gym, whether you're shoveling snow, wherever the case may be, thank you too, guys. You all make it happen, and we value each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. Again, guys, this wraps up season 8. Tomorrow we'll be back for the Friday installment of the show. We're going to do it all over again at the regular time. And this is going to be kicking off season 9, which means there's only going to be 100 shows away from the big 1,000. And guys, I think you know there's going to be some big stuff going down this summer for the big 1,000th episode. So again, we hope to keep everybody around. Everyone stays around until then and beyond, all the way through the Steelers season until we're holding that Vince Lombardi trophy up, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whatever the case may be. It's coming, guys. What else do we got here? I got thank yous, got this, got that. Mike, anything else?
I got nothing, man. Thank you all, man. Whew, big old 900 tomorrow. I'm fired up.
All right, season 9 tomorrow. We'll see everybody then. Miss Pittsburgh, great show like always. We thank you so much. We thank you so much, Miss Pittsburgh. Also, TC, enjoyed the show, guys. As always, thank you so much, my friend TC. Everybody, thank you so much. I hope everybody has I hope things are starting to get better in your neighborhood. I know it's finally with the melting and the shoveling and the everything, it's finally starting to come back around here. But still, the kids are home. Maybe the next step is getting these kids back to school to get things back to normal. But hope everything is going well for you. Have a safe Thursday. Again, back tomorrow. Season 9 kicks off right here for the two Dum Yinzers. Guys, this thing goes all year round. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. We appreciate each and every one of you. Truly, honestly do. Have a great Thursday. Stay safe. Stay warm. Go Steelers, guys. And I think that's everything. So we'll see you tomorrow. Season 9. Have a great day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.